For your show now, press 1 to hear.
Your show is scheduled to start in 48 seconds.
We live. We in here. I got a hat on. You know, I got my forehead showing today and shit.
Oh shit.
What's up? So all right, real quick. Y'all see the title of the joint. But before we get into that, let me just shout some people out who came in a little earlier. Brandon Webb, we put your question to the side. AJ Leno, what's good? What you found? Who else we got up in here? Dre the Great, Chris Demetrius from the Lou. What's good with you? Monogamous Player, Elite, Alician Wrecked. Y'all be coming with these names. It's kind of clever and shit. Efoso was good. Frank H was good, which was good. Mass V was good. Soulmonger, Zulu Hump, K-Son. Y'all niggas just popping up in here now. Goddamn. All right, what's up, Justin? How you doing, fam?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? Doing well. Beautiful day here in New York.
All right.
Go.
Yeah, man. Yep.
Keon Raw, King Solar Power was good. You know, when I came up with this title, Justin, you were one of the first people I thought of. I know this.
Pause.
You can pull something. There you go, Paul. There you go. You can pull something out of your endeavors that kind of go with the title and shit.
Yeah, definitely.
Bo Washington was good. So y'all see the title of the joint. You know, we got to talk about it. I personally think that every aspect and every different corner of dealing with women can be spoke about. But I think what doesn't get spoke about enough is the sexual aspect of it. I think a lot of times that gets minimized because you have a bunch of guys, they're overly concerned with looks, they're overly concerned with status, they're overly concerned with money and all these other things. And we're not going to say that women don't look at those things, but at the end of the day, if you cannot entice a woman sexually, if you cannot satisfy a woman sexually, none of those things mean a goddamn thing. They just don't. So let's plug the joint. Female sexuality and the influence of a sexually confident man. Now, before we get into this, Miles, Justin, y'all got anything y'all want to plug?
Oh, as always want to shout out to Masculine Identity Membership. Go to masculineidentitymembership.com. There you go right there. You know what I'm saying? And then, as always, make sure you guys also go to badboymembership.com. Check out badboymembership.com. And we also have the new website, thebadboystyle.com, where you could get these T-shirts. We got the Women Love Sex T-shirts. We got Women and Men Are Not Equal. We got God to These Hoes. We got Submissive Women Are Sexy. We got all different types of T-shirts, man. Go over there. Go to thebadboystyle.com, one word. .com and check out the T-shirts and pick up your T-shirts. All right. And thank you for having me, K-Zag, and shout out to Mr. Justin.
All right, let's get
Yeah.
it.
Well, I don't have anything going on, but as we progress through this conversation and fellas need to have any questions they want to ask discreetly, anything of that sort, they can contact me at Mr. Justin _X on Instagram, and I'd be happy to have any sort of conversation you might want to, bring about the greater sexual dynamic in your relationships or your dating life.
Right.
If somebody could, one of you moderators, if one of you guys can put that, you said Mr. Justin _X. Okay, yep. Mr. Justin _X at Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody can please put that in the chat, please. Put these brothers' links in the chat so that way if people want to have a conversation with these guys behind the scenes, or if you want to donate, you know what I'm saying, to these brothers, and it ain't just, myself or Miles, you want to donate, by all means do so.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go.
You guys having me.
Oh, not a problem, brother. Real quick, Efosa with the 254. Man, you be sending these odd dollar amounts. This shit would be weird and shit. It'd be like a toll booth amount and shit. Okay, so how can I improve my bedroom skills and last long? We might get into that. Just hold on to that thought, Efosa. Hold on. We might get into that. So go ahead, Miles. You want to say something?
No, I was just going to say that that exact type of information that's exclusive information.
Mm-hmm.
Because I literally have a video on a Masculine Identity Membership called "How to Develop Your Sexual Identity." You understand what I'm saying? Because I'll I'll touch on that to kind of, to talk about the topic real quick. But guys, the phone lines are open, 516-387-1224. And shout out to Jay Roman for making it through.
What's up, Jay?
Everybody hear me okay?
Yeah, we got you.
Not bad. There we go.
There we go. That's better. It's a little more clearer. Now, again, let me plug the joint. Female sexuality and the influence of a sexually confident man. I'm going to touch on exactly what sexuality is. Then I'm going to talk on or speak on what the two components of being sexually confident. Then I'm going to hand it over to these gentlemen. So, guys, sexuality is about your feelings, your sexual feelings, to be exact, your thoughts, attractions, and the behaviors towards other people, right? You can find other people physically, sexually, or emotionally attractive. And all of these things are part of your sexuality. Sexuality is diverse and personal, right? And it is also an important part of who you are. So when you talk about sexuality is unique to you, almost like your fingerprint or your palm print. It's unique to you. Now, there are similarities, which is why a man and a woman can be sexually compatible, because there are similarities with your sexuality, right? But at the end of the day, it's unique to you. It's unique to your own personal sexual experiences. It's also unique to how you view sex. Right. Like an example is if a woman is the type of woman, she doesn't engage in casual sex at all. She only engages in relationship type situations. Her sexuality is going to be completely different from a woman who indulges in casual sex, sex parties, threesomes, all that type of shit. Completely different. Now, it doesn't mean that they both want to enjoy sex, but how they approach it, how they view it is uniquely different to them. Now, when we talk about female sexuality and the influence of a sexually confident man, unfortunately, since we've been on this planet, modern day human beings going back 200,000 years, especially the more civilized part of our society has always tried to control women's sexuality. Always. Okay, that's why I think the 14th, 15th century, you had a chastity belt, right? And you have to ask yourself this question. This is why when guys say women are meant to be with one guy, or that monogamy is natural. If that's the case, why they have the chastity belts? Right. Why they have that? Because they know the truth. They know these chicks gonna get hot in the ass and they gonna want to fuck a dude that they sexually attracted to. Without marriage, without commitment, they know women gonna get down, right? So even back then, in the 14th, 15th century when chastity belts first appeared, they did that shit to make sure that women wasn't fucking for free. You know what I'm saying? They wanted to make sure they can give their daughter away to a lord, an emperor, or whatever type of monarchs or whatever was going on back then. Now, when we talk about sexually confident or being a sexually confident man, it's not just merely about your ability to sexually satisfy a woman. It's also about your ability to exhibit your own sexuality to a woman. So if you meet a woman face to face and you're having a discussion, can you exhibit your sexuality to her verbally? You don't got to use X-rated language to do that. Right. But you can show her with how you flirt, for instance, using sexual innuendos, things of that nature. You can give her some insight to who you are sexually just by your topic of conversation. Part of being sexually confident is that. It's almost like your conversation with a woman is, girl, do you know what I can do to you? Do you know what I can do? Do you know what I can do? You like, without saying it, you come across that way. This is why they have that term or phrase, big dick energy. Okay, it doesn't imply that your shit is big. It just implies you have that bravado, that supreme confidence, that self-assuredness in yourself, right? And a lot of times when you exhibit that type of self-assuredness, women are curious. Why is he so fucking confident? Does he have a big dick? Is he good in bed? Is there something about him that I can't see? Right? Now, also, being sexually confident is when you finally do have sex with a woman for the first time, is your confidence with who you are sexually to express what you like. Like, I've literally heard guys say, I cannot express what I like sexually until after I've had sex multiple times with a chick and I feel more comfortable. My thing is, part of being a sexually confident man is you can do it right away. The very first encounter. I'm gonna pass it to you guys.
Give me 1 second, guys. I just want to test out the phone line. Somebody's calling in. We got 347. You're on live on the Manhood is a Skill Set show. Can you hear us?
Hello?
Yeah, can y'all hear him?
Yep, we got him.
Okay, and
what's up, everyone?
and people in the chat, Let me just make sure that y'all can hear him. Somebody in the chat, just let me know that y'all can hear him. What's your question, caller?
It's not really a question. Salute to you and everybody that's on the panel. I don't really know everybody's name. King Zagan and the other two guys. I don't know their names.
That's Justin. That's Mr. Justin and Jay Roman.
Mr. Justin and Jay Roman. How y'all doing? Y'all good?
All right.
All right, Miles, it's E-Money. Yeah. I just donated to you because the other day I didn't get to donate. So salute to you, man, and keep spitting the game. And all y'all, keep doing what y'all doing. Oh my God. Y'all have a good day.
All right. Hey, appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you for coming in with the donation, man. Appreciate you. All right. And that was a perfect test for the phone line. So the phone lines are good.
And I just want to thanks to the caller too. Thanks for calling earlier in the show. A lot of times everybody want to call later on, but appreciate you actually calling earlier in the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do me a favor, Jay Roman and Coach Justin, if you in a private chat, or the private comment, if y'all can put you guys as if you got not Instagram, well, whatever it is Instagram. If you got a Cash App, PayPal, Zelle, whatever it is, if y'all can throw that in there, so that way we can make sure if people want to get at y'all separately, then they can do so. Because I don't know how many moderators we got up in here. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not seeing no links being thrown up in there and shit. So we want to make sure that we get you guys some love and shit. All right, pause. You gotta say that shit. Anyway, so
well, you're talking about the confidence, and you mentioned something interesting that popped out to me, and it's something I come across a lot. Where you mentioned that, for example, a guy wouldn't be comfortable until a few times after having sex with a woman, and then that comes out. So that shows that he's uncomfortable with himself prior to that, and he works into his I guess more natural sexual self, and really that comes from judgment, right? So self-judgment is one of the biggest things that holds guys back, and it's really important to understand what your own sexuality is all about, and get really in, like, if you've got kinks, get in tune with those kinks. If you have fetishes, get in tune with those fetishes, no matter what it is, even if it's irregular and not common. Just get in tune with it and be okay with it, because you have no idea how open a lot of women are. Most women are to kinks, especially if you're just bringing them forward and in a very casual way, as though you own it, right? And so definitely don't judge yourself and like hold back these things. Just be open and honest about what you're into, and you'd be surprised what sort of fun you can get into.
Facts.
That's real. That's real.
As far as I'll talk about confidence, sexual identity. I think it all comes from. I think it comes from the structure. I think it actually comes from the structure of your erection. And what do I mean by that, right? Because and pause and everything, but when you're looking at the shape, the length, the girth, the veins, whatever angles that you can catch or whatever angles that you can stimulate inside the vagina, all these things play a part in how you literally show up in a sexual episode with a female. Okay. Now, a lot of guys know about the G spot, right? Anybody on the panel know about the A spot?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. A spot, O spot. Yeah, there's a bunch of spots.
There's a few different spots, okay? Mm-hmm. And a lot of guys don't know that there's different spots.
90 seconds.
A lot of guys don't know that there are, that there's deeper spots, there's places, there's certain techniques, there's ways you can move your body. And then let's pull it back. Let's pull it back, right? Because if we're talking about quality erections, what are we talking about? We're talking about health. You understand? We're talking about self-love. We're talking about having a regimen of consistency and eating well, exercising.
60 seconds.
We're talking about a bunch of different things that help create how you show up in the situation. And the confidence that you need to have to be able to produce or for your body to perform at optimal levels feeds your confidence. So literally the way you treat yourself, the way that the self-discipline you have, right, to eat healthy food as opposed to eating bullshit, the self-discipline you have to not drink as much, to not drink too much beer or alcohol, all that other type of stuff. Like all these different things play a major role in the confidence that you end up having in your body, in your abilities, right? And then so that's the physical aspect. And then we talk about the confidence in
10 seconds.
The way you talk, your dirty talk skills, your ability to lead her in the bedroom, your ability to switch between different positions and all this different type of shit. And the fact that you can see the sexiest woman in your life, but you're not like intimidated or by pedestalizing her beauty to be like, oh my God, like shit, 10 strokes in, I might nut and there's nothing I could do about it. If you have a certain level of confidence about your body and about how you show up in a sexual situation, you know that you can enjoy the beauty of a woman's body, right? But it shouldn't affect you to the point where you have no control over your erection or you have no control over your ejaculation. You understand? So all these things make a difference in how you can influence a woman. You understand? Like I have certain situations where I play games with women where I could set up a date for a few days for maybe next week. But because, she may have earned something else, I could tell her to come through. And I could just give her a half hour. I could just give her a half hour and tell her that that's a preview for when I see you next week. You understand? And I won't nut, and I can, you know what I'm saying? Like I can stimulate her. So, and I'm not even doing this because, I'm trying to stay on her mind so she don't think about another man. I really don't care. Yeah, I really and truly don't care what she do or anybody else. But I focus clearly on what we do together, and that's the most important thing to me. So all these things put together, your physical, your health, your self-love, your regimen, your discipline, your ability to show up a certain way, as far as dirty talk, direction, and your ability to control your body, you understand, is to me all the different things that create your sexual identity and what a sexually confident man can produce. And that's how you can influence a woman. You understand? Because another thing I want to say too, before I pass it along, is that you are not responsible for a woman's orgasm. You understand? Don't ever think that you're responsible for a woman's orgasm. And I know a lot of people might not agree with this, but it's everybody's own responsibility to orgasm, to bring themselves to orgasm, including a woman. You understand? Now, are you helping her to orgasm? Yes, you are. But whose responsibility is it? It's up to her. Now, it's a man of low confidence who feels pressure to make a woman orgasm. Do you understand what I'm saying? Where he's grading himself, where, the type of guy where when everything is all said and done, he's like, so did you come? And all that other type of shit, because he's worried about that. You understand what I'm saying? He's not confident enough to just distribute dick and whatever happens, happens. He's worried about, oh my God, I got to make sure she comes, because if I don't make her come, then she might leave me. And, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. Like he's frantically worried about this type of shit. So a truly confident man is the type of man that can enjoy a sexual episode with a woman and not be dependent on the outcome or be dependent on whether she came or not, or if his performance was this or that. He's literally just enjoying himself, expressing himself sexually, and whatever happens, happens. If she enjoys it, she enjoys it. If we're sexually compatible, then we're sexually compatible. If we're not, we're not. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm not going to, because of my confidence, I'm not going to let any of those things affect how I feel about myself in reference to you and sex, meaning the woman. You get what I'm saying? So a truly confident man, the best way to influence a woman is to totally be yourself and to have your sexual identity intact with all of those different aspects that I talked about.
Let me throw this in there before you jump in, Jay Roman. Now, I agree wholeheartedly that you're not responsible, nor are you obligated to be concerned about it. Now, me personally, because I'm just an egotistical motherfucker, I do take pleasure in being attentive. I do take joy in learning a woman's body, assuming she's earned that type of attentiveness. Right. Assuming right? That she's earned that type of attentiveness. Where because this is one thing about being a sexually confident man, and I think Justin, you touched on it earlier. You can literally introduce women to things they have yet to experience, right? Simply by just your knowledge and your experience, but also you have women that they may have experienced things or they may want to experience things, but they're worried about being judged. They're worried about, because if a woman shows she's interested in something super freaky or kinky, she can get labeled a hoe. Oh, you had a lot of dick in your life because you like this. And it might not be the case. She may have heard her friend say something about something and she just wants to experience it for herself. So personally, for me, sex, I feel like I'm a nut no matter what. I'm going to get mine at some point. So I do take pride in being an attentive lover to certain women, but you got to earn that type of attentiveness.
I think if we was going to go chronological order and making a list for a guy to be a sexually confident, dude, I think the number one thing that you guys have said is just that confidence, and that confidence in yourself and what you bring to the table before actually even entering into the bedroom. And I think that, when you're really comfortable with yourself, wherever you are, whatever you like, that is going to shine in the conversation when you talk about certain things. I see here, I'm one of the bigger dudes on this panel, and I'm gonna represent the big dudes right now, the ones that actually do be getting it in. I know there's a facade that big dudes don't be getting it in, but they get it in too. And so one thing you got to be confident in is just your size, point blank, and I never forget this one dude was talking to me about that, and he had some technique that he don't take off his shirt or he don't do this or that, and just a whole, certain things he do. And it just kind of cracked me up because I'm like, what are you hiding from her? She already likes you. She's already there. You don't think she has eyes where she sees you? Like, so, there's some guys that are not confident because they're shorter. Some guys, they're skinnier, not tall, maybe their calves is too small. I don't know whatever your hang up is physically about yourself, but I'm telling you right now, when you're in that bedroom, it ain't the time to try to hide those things. You better be confident and just say, look, we're gonna have a great time, and this is what we about to do. And that's the attitude that needs to come forth. So if there's something you're not confident about, something you're having some insecurities about, then maybe you should start working there first to get over those. Because you ever see somebody come in a room with a certain amount of energy, and after a while, the room takes that energy. And that's the energy you need to be when you go into that bedroom. Like, I bring a certain amount of energy and entertainment and fun that we're going to have a great time. We're going to have a great time. So,
see, and Jay Roman, and that's the thing. For me personally, my confidence and my self-assuredness in the bedroom, I take that on the road with me. Meaning, once I'm out of the bedroom and I'm fully clothed and I'm walking down the street talking, that same confidence I have in the bedroom, I put that in my conversation, right? If I'm flirting with a woman, that's there, right? So what a lot of guys have to understand, part of sexually enticing a woman is painting a picture on some Michelangelo, some Picasso, some Van Gogh shit. You're painting this mental picture of what it's gonna be like to experience you. Okay, and a lot of guys, I don't think they're very good at that, right? Because the funny thing that I find hilarious is when guys call in and they say, "Oh, well, we flirted," and then you ask them, "What did you do? What's your definition of flirting?" And then you listen to them talk, and they don't say anything that has anything to do with sex. And I'm like, you're not flirting. You're just friendly banter back and forth. And just because a woman is smiling and you guys are making eye contact, you equate that with flirting. Now, you can say it's playfully flirting like a bartender would do or a waitress would do, but they're doing it for tips, right? They're not doing it because they want to fuck you. There is a difference. Now, let me just read this definition of flirtatious real quick, right? Behaving in such a way as to suggest a playful sexual attraction to someone, right? Sexual innuendos, you can use that. The problem with a lot of guys, they are afraid to broach the topic of sex. That tells me you're not supremely sexually confident. Because if you were, you will know that women complain all the time about the fact that guys aren't straight up. Women complain all the time about the fact that guys suck in bed, right? So if you that dude and you know, like, I ain't got that problem. You know what I'm saying? So basically what you're introducing to women is, I'm the opposite of what you complain about. Okay, your actions, how you flirt with them, how you talk to them. Because here's the thing about sex. All women, heterosexual women, bi women, maybe even some lesbian chicks are a little curious about some dick. But all bi chicks and heterosexual chicks, they love sex, assuming they have a healthy sex drive, they haven't had a hysterectomy or they're going through menopause. They want dick. So the only way they can really get dick is to deal with a man who is assertive and who's coming with that type of energy. So I just want to bring that to guys. When you're talking to these women, if that's what you desire, whatever way you choose to express it, express it. Y'all got it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Zay, you mentioned something really important there when you were talking about visualizing, be able to talk about it. And this, I think, now this is a contentious thing to say, but I think guys watching porn, it ruins your imagination. And because it gives you just a snippet of sexuality, when really it starts in your mind being able to translate into her mind, and they never show any of that. And that is where the real sauce is. That's where the real magic happens, is it starts in your mind. Okay, so that's the power of visualization. And so, you know, when I'm about to go see my lady or she's coming to see me, I've already planned out every single step along the way of her entire experience. I have everything planned out. And it could be a simple plan or it could be a very elaborate plan. But either way, the plan has been visualized. And I write down to like how I'm going to address her, how I'm going to talk to her, the things that we're going to do, what I want her to wear, what I'm going to be wearing, what toys we're going to use, everything. Right? It's all planned out visually. And that allows you to communicate these things a lot better if you have that. Now, if you're watching a lot of porn, so we all know that what we consume visually and auditorily has an effect on our minds. So we have to be very aware of what we consume, just like food, you know? So if we're consuming porn a lot, that simplifies and shortens everything that we can't really build these skills. So, you know, if I could give just a reveal like little tool, right, is to get into erotic writing. And that allows you to expand your imagination and come up with ideas. And that also acts as a double prong thing, because it allows the guy to learn to accept their own sexual nature. And they might come up with some really wacky shit, and that's great. Like, it's actually okay to do that. And because you're not going to be sharing with anybody, but it's learning what you're about. And then once you're able to do that and accept your sexuality and then really expand with your imagination, that's when you can start planning and visualizing your interactions with women a whole lot better. And the thing is that, you know, guys look at women and they say, see, they can bounce back, they can get back into relationships, they can have sex really easy. And what they don't realize is that the 80% is a bunch of shit. So yes, they have a lot of options, but it's a lot of options of average. They already know what they're about to get into. So it's like, yeah, they can eat, but it's like eating junk food, right? And so they can fill their tummies, but it's not exactly nourishing. Okay. And the reason being is that guys are coming at sex like porn. They're like, okay, we're going to come in, dick goes inside her, we move a little bit and then we're done. And leaving out her mind completely. And so getting into your mind allows you to get into her mind. And once you start massaging the pussy in her mind, that's when you can really start like percolating and bringing about her sexual nature and bringing it out of beyond that 80% that most guys just take them to.
That's facts. I love that shit. Real quick, Zulu Honk with the Zaire 70, whatever that is. How did you keep the sex life interesting in a long-term relationship after being with the woman for years? Would we be opening up the relationship, make it more interesting? Do y'all want to tackle this question now or later?
Yeah, I'd say something. I'll say something about it real quick. See, for a question like this, I would definitely rather you call up or get on a coaching call. You understand?
Yeah.
Because I don't know what the dynamics of your sex life with your woman has been. I don't know if y'all cohabitate. All these things make a difference. I don't know what trips y'all been on. I don't know what places y'all have had sex. I don't know how freaky you are. I don't know your libido levels.
Yeah.
There's so many things that I need
a lot of details
personally in order to tell you what you can do, because sex can be the simplest thing in the world and it can be the most complicated at the same time, and that's how relationships are. So for us to really for me personally to really give you what you need as far as an answer to make things more interesting, we would have to have a deeper conversation. And with that being said, to answer it in a general sense, opening it up might not necessarily help you. Now, if you're just looking for a fucking reason, Zulu hunk, to open up your relationship, that's not the reason. You understand? Sex is never the reason to open up your relationship. You understand? Because even though there's certain things to be said about spontaneity in relationships and doing new things together and growing and blah, 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 there still needs to be a level of consistency. And the level of consistency starts with the quality. You understand? It starts with the quality of the sexual connection. It starts with the quality of the attraction and respect and chemistry between you and your woman. You understand? And that the quality of the chemistry needs to stay consistent somehow. You understand? Now, how would we do that? Again, I would have to know a little bit more about the dynamics of you and your girl. You understand? But in general, you have to, a lot of what Mr. Justin was just saying speaks to that a lot. You have to be able to, Zach, if you could keep the question up, because it kind of helps me. It kind of helps me. All right. So being creative is important. You understand? Like Mr. Justin was talking about sexual writing. Like the other day, it was crazy. The other day, I was actually texting. I was texting a woman, and out of nowhere, I just had like 6 bars of what I considered was some dope ass rhymes. You understand? Like we was setting up the plan for the next date, and out of nowhere, just a bunch of rhymes just popped into my head, and I wrote it down in the text. And then she hit me back with the pussy wet emoji, and I was just like, wow. You know what I'm saying? And I was looking at the shit myself like, wow, that's some. I haven't written, because back in the day, like Lakari and myself, we used to do music and shit, and I haven't had an inspiration like that in so long. So why did I bring that up? I brought that up to explain to you that as a man, being the leader of your relationship, a lot of guys don't want to accept this, and a lot of guys don't want to deal with this. But a lot of the leadership in creativity still falls on you, the man. You understand? You are the architect. You are ask yourself, they've been designing buildings since how long ago, but they're still coming up with brand new designs for buildings every year. You understand? This is the challenge that we face as men. This is what we need to do as men to continue to lead and influence. We have to have the confidence to say that, first of all, we have to be satisfied with our own sexual identity, meaning that we accept it, we believe in it, and we admire it on our own. You understand what I'm saying? Humbly, right? But then at the same time, based on that acceptance, we need to trust ourselves to try new things. We need to be able to trust ourselves to, write something creative, trust ourselves to make a new playlist of music, trust ourselves to fucking go to the Adam and Eve store and buy some fucking sexual equipment that could help us get into a new position. Trust and even to speak to you, to speak to the whole thing of opening up the relationship. Maybe you don't have to open the relationship, but maybe you can bring a partner in. Maybe you could just bring a chick in just to watch. Maybe somebody watching y'all might stimulate something. Again, we would have to
some voyeurism shit.
Voyeurism, right?
Right, but you can't do that if you're judging yourself, if you're keeping your kinks to yourself, if you think she's going to think this is weird.
Exactly.
You'll never be able to go and explore if you're having a lot of self-judgment.
And that's what I meant when I said you have to be accepting of your own sexual identity to begin with. Mm-hmm. And then with that acceptance, you trust yourself to try something different, try something new. But and you guys could take it.
I'm just, when I see these long-term questions, like long-term relationships, to me, shit, you should be able to say the most outlandish stuff because this person knows you the most, right? Because
Right.
they've been around for so long, they know you. Just like, when I'm in these long-term relationships, they know not to put me on speakerphone because I'm liable to say anything from the jump.
That's
Anything from
important.
the
Yeah,
jump.
I'm the same
There's
way.
been times I just said some stuff and they, oh, my mom's right here. And the mom laughed because, hey,
Yep.
anything from the very jump. And so, if you're holding back from saying things,
Right.
and holding back from doing things, then you got to speak with your partner and let them know, like, there's nothing I shouldn't be able to say. I say some outlandish stuff that, no speakerphone needs to be involved in at all with kids or in-laws in the car or anything like that. And to me, that's one of the starts. You should be able to express all your desires. You should be able to express what's on your mind. You should have groomed the relationship for them to know you and your sexual drive and the things that you might say. And then, start taking one step above the next. Start taking one step above the next. I mean, there's a multitude of things to be said and done. Multitude.
Okay.
So, really start expressing yourself and being honest with your mate.
Mm-hmm.
Let me say this about porn. Like, I'll use myself as an example. I can watch porn every day of the week and it don't impact my ability to enjoy sex with a woman. The problem, I did a consultation yesterday and the guy was talking about how he watches porn. If you are an insecure dude, don't watch pornography.
Right.
Don't do it, right? Because one of the things he was talking about was, Paul's was the size of other niggas' joints. And he was worried about, because he doesn't really have a lot of experience with women sexually, and he was worried about, damn, what if I get with a woman and she experienced what I saw in porn? And my thing is, why are you worried about that? You know what I'm saying? And it goes back to being sexually confident. It doesn't matter what the man before you did or the men before you did. It don't matter. Okay, do you feel confident in what you can do? And even if you have sex with a woman and she doesn't respond to your penis, your tongue, your fingers, or whatever it is you do, okay, you're dirty talking, if she don't respond the same way that other women do, it just means you're not sexually compatible. You shouldn't feel bad or at a loss because a woman is not sexually compatible with you. It's okay. It's okay. It happens. So this is what I would say to guys who consume porn. This is just my personal opinion. If you're insecure, don't watch that shit. Okay, that's number one. If you're insecure in the size of your manhood, don't watch that shit. Also, if you're using porn as a void, right? Because you're not talking to women, you're not actually having sex, and you're using porn to get the visualization of a naked woman because you're not seeing naked women, right? And you're jacking off to what you would like to see, but you're not actually seeing it. Okay, that can be a hindrance to you because it's going to keep you from actually talking to women. Also, if you're the type of guy where you are addicted to porn, where you're paying for it, okay, you're breaking yourself paying for shit. Okay, I think that can be a hindrance to guys as well because you're not getting real world experience. You're not getting real interactions with women. Because here's the thing about interacting with women in general and interacting with women sexually. You learn more about women and you learn a lot about yourself. So if you're not really interacting with women like that, then all you're doing, in my opinion, is stunting your growth as far as your own sexuality and you just maturing, growing, and evolving and what it is you into and what you can actually do for women on a sexual tip. Y'all got it.
Hey guys, call in 516-387-1224, 516-387-1224. And another thing I'd like to say too is like, and this is something that we talk about all the time. But the game is so universal. When we talk about leadership, when we talk about confidence, it really all goes back to, when we talk about influence and we talk about confidence, it really all goes back to leadership. You understand? And a woman has to follow our lead as men. You understand? A woman has to submit to us. You understand? Her vagina has to shape to the penis. You understand? It has to submit to the, to the penetration, so to speak. You understand? Everything is predicated on us as men and how we see ourselves. You understand? There's a vulnerability aspect when it comes to having sex, right? Where, and I think we mentioned it earlier. If we're not confident enough about the shape of our bodies, that there might be an issue with that, and that might be something that'll hold us back. If we're not comfortable just being naked in front of somebody, just from a mental aspect, right, where we're just not comfortable showing our true selves. This is another reason why we tell you guys not to really lie to women. You understand? Where it's like, because at some point you're going to be naked. You understand? So even on a physical level, you got to be honest, to a certain extent. So it's like, to influence, we have to have a 360 degree acceptance of everything about ourselves. You understand? Because sex has nothing to do with anything but the physical beings and gifts that we've received as human beings from our creator, however you want to look at it, nature, God, whatever. But it's like, we can only do what we could do. You understand? And I mean, me personally, I look at porn as something, as an educational tool. You understand? I look at porn as a help. For me, porn is an aid. I train my stamina with porn. You understand? I mean, I enjoy it as well. I search out different channels. Like me as a photographer, this is one particular channel. I can't tell you the name of it right now, but there's a channel on X videos that I watch, and the lighting is superb. Like the way that they light the scenes. And then they spray all the models with oil and water, so that everything is like, when they do close-ups on the skin, it's droplets of water all over the skin. You understand? And then they use these condensant lights. And what I mean by condensant is it kind of gives you this yellow hue. And then so it's like half the scene is dark, but you see the outline of people's skin. So you kind of see like a silhouette molding of people's skin. And then when they do the close-ups, you see the water droplets on their skin, and then they get into these different positions and all this cool shit. So when I look at porn, bro, I'm not just like, oh, let me look at this porn so I can like grab the tissue and the lotion and whack it off. Like, I'm looking at porn and I'm looking at the scene. I take notes on different fucking positions. You understand? I take notes on certain things that they're doing in the scene that I could try on my next sexual escapade. You understand? And like I told a caller this the other day, because a caller was like, yeah, sometimes when I watch porn, it affects me and I come too fast. And I say, bro, so every time you watch porn, do you jerk off to ejaculation? And he said, yes. And I'm letting y'all know, I probably actually ejaculate to porn maybe once or twice a month, but I watch porn at least 4 or 5 times a week. Shit, sometimes.
Let me ask you a question. Okay, and I'm not trying to be facetious or funny about it. Yeah. So when you watch it, or you like watching it for like 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, just watching the shit, I can't do that.
Yo,
I gotta be honest.
It depends. It really depends. It really depends. It really depends. You understand? It really depends. Like that one particular channel that I'm telling you about, where the lighting is so dope. I could watch that shit. I could watch that shit for like anywhere from a half hour to a full hour.
You got that videographer and that photographer. See that? Okay, that multimedia shit going on in your head and shit.
Exactly. Yeah. So the point I'm trying to make is, I get to explore different things mentally, energetically, and all that through porn. A lot of guys. Okay, and this is what I wanted to talk about before. Actually, this is what brought me back. So when we talk about confidence, we talk about influence, right? Certain aspects of confidence and influence require control. That's what I wanted to get back to. Control. Okay. So what do I mean when I talk about that? It's the same way I'm talking about being able to watch porn and not automatically go grab the fucking lotion and the tissue. Do you understand? And even as a man, when we talk about leadership and leading a woman in the bedroom, like, there's certain things I do during a sexual encounter that if I did them in public, they'd probably lock me up. You understand? But these things are done consensually behind closed doors. Why? Because the consent is not just I consent to sex. The consent is this: I consent to your control. Do you understand? Because because a woman knows that I'm bigger, stronger, heavier than she is. A woman knows that when I put my hand around her fucking neck and I got her leg up on my shoulder like this and I'm fucking drilling her vagina, she knows that if I squeeze hard enough and I put all my weight on her fucking larynx or whatever it is, she could suffocate and die. You understand? But at the same time, she trusts that I have control over that ability to cause harm. And that's what I'm talking about. Like confidence, influence, all those things. Being a man requires control. You know, Jordan Peterson said it best, in my opinion, where he said, you know, it's not just about being a killer or someone who can cause harm. It's about knowing that you have that ability, knowing that you're able to do that and be able to control it. Because he's like, what's the point of being able to cause violence if you don't know how to control it? You understand? What's the point of being in a leadership position if you don't know how to control your influence? If you don't know how to control your ability to dictate the fate of the person that is following you, of the person that is consenting to you. And that right there is a huge part of the sexual dynamic that a lot of guys don't understand. So for you guys who you can't turn on porn without jumping to go grab the fucking tissue and the lotion, you guys need to work on your control. And it's that type of control that will allow a woman to be able to trust in your leadership, whether sexually or otherwise in the relationship. But you guys can take it.
Well, Miles, I'm glad you brought that up because that was one of the notes that I wrote down, which is control. And we were talking about confidence, and part of confidence, sexual confidence, comes from putting your state into a position of control rather than pleasure. So too many guys get caught up. Most guys get caught up in just going after their own nut. And they're like, yeah, like whatever, like fuck her, like I'm just in it for me. Right. But that puts you at like 10% of the sexual experience.
Exactly.
And so because you're just driven by your desire to consume, your desire to have dopamine, basically. That's all that is. So you're basically just using the woman as a vehicle to achieve the drug of dopamine that you're seeking. Right. And then that begs the question, well, why are you after that so much? What is it about yourself in your life or whatever that you are seeking out this dopamine from another source that you can't supply on your own? And then the other problem that guys have is being pleasers, right? So that's like the nice guy sort of thing. Like when nice guys actually get in bed with women, they become this supplicant sort of pleaser type, and they're the ones who are always worried about making sure that she had a good time. Was it good for you? Like that sort of silly nonsense. Right. But really the important part is shifting away from seeking pleasure. Now I'm not saying don't enjoy yourself, right? We're not here talking about being robots, but it's put the pleasure on the back burner, right? Not take it off the stove, but just put it on the back burner. And in the front should be the desire to control, which is links to what I was talking about with the visualization and making it your situation. And I use this analogy of a symphony conductor. Okay. So a symphony conductor, he has the whole plan of what's going on. Okay. He's watching what the bass strings are doing, what the alto strings are doing, what the horns are doing, what the percussion's doing, while maintaining the entire structure of the whole song in his head and guiding the tempo, the volume, the speed, all that stuff what everybody's doing. And he is hearing the music, but he can't actually listen to it and engross himself in the experience of enjoying the music. Because if he does that, he'll lose sense of direction and control. Like I don't know if any of you guys were ever in chorus when you're like in middle school or elementary school.
Perfect analogy,
right? And I remember being there. Chorus. Right, I remember singing, and I would stop, and my attention would shift to the song because I wanted to enjoy it, right? To just like hear what's actually happening. I would start singing off key. I would lose my sense of the lines. I would lose control, right? Because I immersed myself. So you like as a man who is sexually confident, who is a sexual wizard, you actually can't be as immersed in the experience. Because if you're completely immersed, you're not able to lead, guide, and control. And then if you're getting into things like, in my world, you're getting into like BDSM, where you're playing around with people's safety, right? Where you have them tied up. You're putting them in compromising positions.
Yes.
So you have to watch out for blood pressure. You have to look out for if their hands are turning purple. If you have to watch out if skin is getting too red, or if there's any lacerations or anything like that. You have to see if they can communicate. Thank you, Miles. There's so many things that when you start really concocting your experiences, the more you concoct them, the more you have to control them. If you're just in it for the experience, you're just in it for the nut. Do you see by comparison how limited that is? You're like you sure you can enjoy yourself, and you know what, fellas, if that's all you're into, if that's all you want, fine. Like, I'm not saying that you have to become a conductor, but just understand there is a whole universe that opens up once you put pleasure on the back burner and you start enjoying the creative aspect of taking control in your sexual experiences.
Yes, and I want to say this too, real quick. Just real quick, I want you guys to understand that when we say control, it's not the same as to say like we're just dominating a woman sexually for the purpose of
domineering. It's not being domineering. It's
exactly. It's not malicious intent. It's control in the realm of creating a certain experience for you and that woman while you immerse yourselves in the pleasure, because there's pleasure and then there is, like that fucking analogy is so beautiful. The conductor, because the conductor's not even playing any fucking instruments, but the conductor is controlling so many things all at once, and he's also the composer and arranger of the song itself. Do you understand? And he's telling the horns and the strings and different different
percussion and all that type of shit.
Like, he's telling them, he's controlling the entire thing. And as much as he understands the beauty of the music, like you said, you can't fall into the part where you admire the music, because that's where a lot of you guys prematurely ejaculate when you start to say caught up. You're like, oh shit, this is good. Oh shit, and you're done. You understand? When you got different dudes who your mind is on a different level, where you're fucking her and it feels good, and you're looking at her fucking ass and it's jiggling, and you're like, damn, that should look good. I'm ready to nut, but I'm not ready to nut. You understand? I still got 3 or 4 more positions I'm trying to put her in. I got 4 more notebooks of shit that I need to say to her before this is over, like so on and so forth. But you got it.
Yeah, I wanted to add one thing about the pleasure aspect. You can lead and organize the situation to suit your pleasure, right? So, for example, you can create a scene in your head, right? You visualize how things are going to go. And tonight it's going to be all about servicing you, right? And so I would say this is probably not the best thing to do all the time, but it's rewarding yourself, right? It's rewarding yourself and say, okay, I'm going to create something specifically for me. And this is going to be like a service sort of scene where you're sitting back, you're getting the massage, you're getting the foot rubs, you're getting the hand rubs, you're getting the blowjobs as in the way that exactly the way you want it. And you're having her dress the way you want her to dress. You're doing all the things that you want to do, but it's made for you. So you can create something that really focuses on your pleasure, but it still comes down to you designing the whole thing. Right. And then if you're with somebody who really enjoys giving service, right, and it's not just an expectation of yours, but they just really enjoy that, they're pleasers, and for women as well. Some women they love being pleasers. If that's part of them, and then that sort of math really works out together.
Exactly.
Let me say this real quick, and I know Jay Roman, you haven't spoken in a while. Hen Dog 1 with the 5. He said, "What's up, K-Zag and the Miles? Just wanted to support the show. Being direct with women works all the time, and I love doing. Y'all keep up the great work. Let me just say this. This Peach Rose. You got jokes. Peach Rose, you got jokes. You It's a lot of things you don't know, girls. A lot of things you don't know, girl. Anyway, let me just say this, and this is why I tell guys, especially you premature ejaculators, do not have sex with women in your favorite position. Don't. You know, cause one of the things that I would ask chicks from time to time, not all the time, but when I'm flirting with a chick I just met, and I'm talking about sex, a lot of times I would say, well, sometimes, let me not say a lot of times. Sometimes I would say, let me ask you a question. What position do you come in the most? Right? I'll just ask that question. What position do you come in the most? Because I'm gonna put you in that position. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna make sure you straight. Because to me, like I said, I'm not concerned with my nut. I can nut anytime I want to. Now, I've had sex with women and I'm fucking for an hour and never even came. You know what I'm saying? But she busting the whole night. You know what I'm saying? But I never came. But when I'm done, I feel good. You know what I'm saying? I handled my business. I took care of business. I didn't nut. Shorty about to go home. I'm about to toss off in the toilet, even though I didn't nut with her. I'm good though. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, and I think someone said it earlier, it's about control and not busting quick and having penis control, having dick control. And I think, Miles, you said it when guys, when they instantly start watching porn, they break out the lotion and the Kleenex and they just start tossing. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes sit there and just watch that shit. Now I can't watch that shit like Miles do for like 30 minutes and shit. But sometimes I just watch. And to me, now the professional porn with the great lighting and then the 4K shit, I do appreciate the professionalism. You know what I'm saying with that. But the amateur porn is where it's really at, because you get to see people in like real life situations where you see the bloopers and you see the goofy shit that really happened. Like when motherfuckers is in the midst of fucking before they fuck after, you see real shit. And also you see the imperfections of people. You know what I'm saying? In the sense that not every chick is gonna be super beautiful and have a flat stomach and perfect breast and a nice. No, you see real shit, real people doing real shit. That's my personal opinion about it. Y'all got
it. The channel is called Sinful Triple X. Sinful Triple X on X videos. I would put a screenshot, but I don't want to get no violations. But you got it, J. Roman.
What's crazy is porn taught me about pineapple juice.
What?
Pineapple, yeah. So there was this blooper on porn where the girl got up, and it was after the porn scene, and the girl got up and was like, "Damn, you taste really salty." She was telling the dude, and she's like, "You need to drink more pineapple juice, and you need to drink more citrus, right?" And I was like, "What?" I said it just kind of hit me, and so there would be times where people would be like, "Yo, this is tasty, right?" It's not the norm. So I stay up on my pineapple juice, right? I stay up on my citrus drinks because it makes a difference. Just like, just if you was eating a whole bunch of asparagus, you went to the bathroom, you smell it, right? Everybody, Exactly. So there's certain things in certain diets that you can put in your body that is better for them. So, that's one of the things I'm trying to say the words without getting, this channel blocked or anything, whatever. But, there's certain things you could do in your diet that will help that out. Pineapple juice is one of the citrus things that you can drink that actually gives, a better taste for them. So, and it has been proven, it's been noticed and discussed before with people that notice. So, I would tell guys the pineapple juice. I like to keep things kind of simplistic for people. When we talk, the amount of levels and experience on this show is vast. I would put it in an order of confidence. It's going to affect your speech. Your speech and confidence will affect your actions. Your actions, speech, and confidence will influence her. And that's on any level, though. You don't have to be, on the level of choking them out or tying them up or whatever for this to come to play. No matter what your level is of kink, you need to be able to express yourself, have the confidence behind it, the speech behind it, the actions behind it, and so forth, and then going from there. So to me, don't make it more complicated than it really is. We talk about porn. I watch porn different times for different levels for different things, not all the same day, all the same time. Mm-hmm. I used to have a book, on my coffee table, the exotic erotica book. I don't know if you guys remember that book. It came out. It was 2 versions, 2 copies of it. It was called the Exotic Erotica book. And in this book, there was 2 books. One book was nothing but erotic poetry, right? Another book, it was just erotic stories, right? So sometimes when they would come over, that'd be on the coffee table. I see them looking at it and I'm like, hey, what you reading there? Read it out loud. And this is just us sitting and talking, but at that very instant, my influence of even having that book on that coffee table was putting her mind in a certain light when she was reading it. It wasn't pornography. It wasn't a Playboy. It wasn't anything like that.
It's art.
It was something she could read. We both can get involved and talking to it, right? And so when I talk to people about speech, one of my homies used to tell me, he's like, man, I don't know how you do it, but man, you get them talking about sex right away.
Right away.
And it wasn't that was, personal. It really wasn't purposeful at that time. It was just me because I could look, my grandfather taught me, hey, stare them down, look at them in their eyes, give them a little smile. And there was this one time the girl was saying she's about to go in the store. And me and my buddy was in the car. So I said, oh, you about to go in and out that store, huh? Real quick. And she looks at me and I look at her and she's like, you want to come? And I was like, always, right? And our speech changed. And my buddy looks at me like, damn, dog, you just did it again. And it's like, it's just the way you converse and the confidence that's in you that they should automatically kind of know. And that's why when we have that long-term question, it's like, long-term? You mean to tell me you've been with this woman for a long-term? Mm-hmm. And you haven't caught, this is something, it should be way past this. Like, you should be tying her up, got the swing, trying a whole bunch of different things. Like, this should be way past this level of just speech. So, or trying something new. You guys, different days. Y'all should be picking different days what we're going to do and stuff. So, I'm sorry, I got this cold. I'm trying to shake.
No,
so anyway.
Let me peep guys to something. Okay, a few years back, there was this series called The Pussy Bandit. Then Sex Chronicles, and if I remember correctly, I know you remember that.
My nigga, that's my nigga right there.
Yeah. So if I remember correctly, and Mouth, if you can remember, it was a dude on a college campus, and he was sneaking into chicks' dorm rooms, and he was performing cunnilingus on them, and he had a mask on and everything. He would just show up, la, 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 and creep back out the window, right? And so chicks was running around campus talking about the Pussy Bandit. Okay, he wasn't fucking them. He would just show up, eat them out, make them bust, and bounce. So there were a lot of chicks leaving their windows open. Like I hope he come to my room tonight, right?
Like a vampire. That's fantastic. Jerome, what was that book series? If somebody could put that in the chat, I think that would be really good for people to read.
You know what? I still got the book. So if you give me a minute, I'll get up and grab it.
All right.
It's definitely on the library.
To your point, though, erotic literature, okay, like the stuff you see in the drugstore, with Fabio on the cover with the long blonde hair and the muscles and holding the chick. All right,
women love that shit.
This genre of book is the highest selling genre of book across the globe. Underneath religious text. Oh no, I'm not talking 50 Shades of Grey, which is actually an aberration of BDSM. It's horrible. Right. But I'm talking erotic literature where it's a story and there's romance and danger and all this stuff, right? Those stories that you see in the drugstore, that genre of book is the highest grossing genre of book worldwide underneath religious texts, right? There's a reason for that, because women love being able to transport themselves. Because when a woman, do you notice how when we're talking to women, you bring up a certain general concept and they always say, well, right? And you're like, oh my gosh, can we please stay on track? But they can't. They literally can't not inject themselves into the experience or the concept that you're talking about because they're very solipsistic. So whenever they're reading, so that's like a hindrance and a plus at the same time, because when they're reading this sort of stuff, they literally transport themselves into the story as though they are the woman experiencing the story. So that said, it's really important to say grab these books that you can grab these books from the drugstore and read a bunch of them. You can grab the books that that Jay Roman's going to bring up and read them so that you can figure out the pace and the structure of these stories, and then start writing some short stories on your own. Yeah. And when you get to, I mean, you can be like, well, you know, you're talking to some girls like, oh, what are you doing? Oh, I'm just doing some writing. Right. Oh, there's a little bit of anticipation, curiosity. Like, what are you writing? Oh, just, you know, these little stories, little fun stories that, you know, they're a little steamy. So really, what do you mean? Like, can I see some? I don't know. I don't think it's for you. I don't know if you should. I don't think you should read it. I mean, it's good, but like I just don't know if you can handle it. And she's like, no, let me have some. And then you give her a snippet of the story that leads up to a climax, but doesn't get to the climax, and she'll want to know what the fuck is going to happen next. And now you've given her a taste of what your mind is like. You've transported her into your story that you wrote because they're solipsistic. And then she's going to have some sort of emotional reaction to that. She's going to want to know what's next. And from there, we'll spark a whole other sort of conversation. Well, and she's like, well, when can I see the rest? It's like, and then that you can turn that into a reward system of, you know, like, well, if you do this, if you're a good girl, maybe we can do some more. You know what I mean?
There you go. That's my favorite term, if you're a good girl. Jay Roman, before you show the book, let me say this. Because I think at least two of you guys mentioned erotic poetry. Yeah. If you really look, for all you guys that be trying to wine and dine chicks and do all these extravagant dates, if you really want to invite a woman into your world, okay, when you want to exhibit your sexuality, take a woman to an erotic poetry reading. And just don't even say nothing, just look at her the whole time. While the motherfuckers on the stage talking that shit that they talking, look, because I know some of you know what spoken word is and all that type of shit, but when you have women, because I've been to a couple, at erotic poetry reading, all you hear is moans and groans. You know what I'm saying? Because chicks is visualizing it. They're visualizing what they're saying, and again, and I talked about it, painting the picture like, you know, Picasso, Michelangelo, Van Gogh. You painting this picture because you're hitting them here mentally. So you're, and you said it, Justin, earlier, you transporting them. You're putting them in the bedroom, about to experience what this person is saying, and they're like, I want to experience that.
Right.
I want to know what it would feel like for that to happen to me, to be touched like that, kissed like that, stroked like that, or to be tied up in that position. I want to know what that would feel like. God damn, this motherfucker got me thinking about some shit. So already, you got a chick already wet, and you ain't even touched her yet. Well, just think about that. Y'all got it.
Mm-hmm. Another good one is My Secret Garden, not The Secret Garden, but My Secret Garden. And it was a book actually published in 1973 by Nancy Friday. And what she did is she anonymously collected tons of women's fantasies through letters and tapes and personal interviews and compiled them into this book. And this will give guys a sense of just how imaginative and nasty and bizarre and naughty women's minds are. You think you're a hornball? You have no fucking clue how crazy and nasty women's brains are.
That's facts.
So if you have the ability to just start tapping into that, it's like it becomes like a whole other playland. Combine that with being the conductor and that mindset, it's done. Like she is done. So like when Steve says, like when she opens that door and takes that invitation and he's like, girl, you take this invitation, you're done. You get to that position of being that conductor and knowing what you know about how things can go and how far they can go, you know, it's done. She is a cooked chicken. Is over for her.
Name of that series again, Justin?
Yeah, it's a book. It's called My Secret Garden, not The Secret Garden, and it's by Nancy Friday. Yeah, it's really, really
Secret
cool.
Garden.
Yeah,
let's look it up.
Yeah, My Secret
Garden. So I'm down there looking at my library, and you know, there's a whole sexual section down there. You know, and of course you got your classics, your Kama Sutra book, right? You know, I know everybody pretty much. That's a classic that's on you know, in everybody's library and stuff. And it just made me reflect on me kind of studying the skill, the skill of having these sexual interactions, the skill of, speech about it. And, the time I took to kind of just study that. And it doesn't go to actually the study, but the confidence that after you study something or after you practice something that you have, and building that confidence no matter what you do. You have to practice, you have to become a student of anything, become better at it. And I think sometimes, not just in the sexual aspect, but men, you got to understand the ego has to step to the side and become students of things first before mastering or becoming close to. I don't believe you ever really just super master something, but you get really close to it. And so, just made me think of that when I'm looking at all these different books. But this one was called the Dark Eros, the Black Erotica series. It was by a Reginald Martin, PhD. He had this one and the Black Erotica one with the poetry in it. And so this was just a conversational starter that, pick one and read. One's been opened up a lot more than the other, the poetry, the shorter ones. The stories were, was definitely used, but it was just to converse about sex in a different manner that people were doing, that a lot of times they hear. A lot of times ladies will hear exactly what you want to do to them and whatever verbiage you use, but not really talk about sex in a different manner. And so this allows them to open up a little bit more to tell you their fantasies or tell you their erotic thoughts and things like that, so.
What was it? What was the name of that series again?
It's called Dark Eros.
Dark
Eros. Erotic writings.
Yeah, he's got a number of them.
Reginald Martin.
Yeah, just look up Reginald Martin books, and he's got a bunch of books.
And this one's called Black Erotica, Reginald Martin books. Mm. So I'll never forget reading this one book about different erotic zones on the body, different sensual spots. And, this one girl was like, oh my God, I've never been kissed there. And basically it was just behind the kneecap, the fold of the knee, but just the way, or how you put the pressure on their foot, and you run your thumb up the middle of their foot, almost to the ball of that foot while you in action,
bro,
and it does something to them. Like, so there's different things you can do that if you didn't become a student to study or read about more than just, your phallus in them action, but other on how to really please. I'm kind of like Zag. I'm a pleaser, and I like the way just to put the conductor. I like to conduct, and there's times they're like, I need you to right now. I'm like, no, I'm not done yet. Like, I don't want to finish because I love the entertainment of sex. I like the entertainment. I like seeing the different facial expressions you make and the movements and, that pushing hand that you do, up against it. Like, I like seeing all that and going past that to see your limit, when you just kind of, so, that to me is the fun part and the entertainment of sex. I think sometimes we get together to bang out just for the raw. But there's entertainment in it, and I like seeing the entertainment of it.
Well, let me speak on something because you touched on it without saying it. Erogenous zones. There are a lot of women who have erogenous zones and they don't know where they're at. One of the things that I would do, and again, I look at myself as an attentive lover. Not for all women I've had sex with. You know what I'm saying? You got to earn that. For me to really. Like, there would be times I would have sex with a chick and she would, go crazy. And I would tell her, wait until I learn your body. You ain't seen, wait until I learn your body. Now, if she sticks around and she's the type of chick that deserves me being that, attentive, one thing that I have no problem darting my tongue over every inch of a woman's body. And it depends. Not every woman deserves that opportunity. But there will be times.
Out the shower or out the bath, right? Okay.
Oh yeah. Wash their ass first.
After 20 steps, it expires. After 20 steps, that expires. Like, I got a 20-step rule.
No doubt. No doubt.
Soapy time,
So
got a 20-step rule. That's it.
there you go. So you mentioned like behind the chick's kneecaps, even around the ball of a woman's ankle. Like you lick your tongue all around the ball, the shape of the ankle. And I've had chicks that literally busted, like, and I'm like, God damn, because she didn't know that was the spot for her, and I'm just putting my tongue any and everywhere, learning her body. Like I said, I was gonna do. I'm learning your body. I'm gonna find out, like even like back here, or the smaller the back. You know what I'm saying? You
the back of the neck.
Oh my God!
You got to be like Indiana Jones, you know, and just start put your hat on, grab your bullwhip, and start exploring, you know, but to Zag's point, you know, this brings up a good conversation that I was having with my friend Coach Brody. Check out his channel; he's got some really interesting stuff on his channel. But you know, he believes in not giving that 100% experience. Right. Because what you can do if you're knowledgeable, if you're very good at what you do, you can turn them into a crackhead. And then, you know, like on shows where you say like it's difficult to get rid of women sometimes. If you were just in it to just have like a quick experience, you have to gauge how much of that you're going to dish out. Right. So if you give them the red carpet experience, and you're not intending on having this woman around you, you're going to turn her into a crackhead, and she's going to be all like itching up on it. She's like, what are you doing this weekend? What's going on with you? And, and so you have to really kind of tailor your experience. And like, so that takes confidence and control as well, because you have to kind of hold back and be like, okay, you know, I have to rein this in a little bit, because if I do, I might have a problem on my hands where, you know, this woman's after me and I'm not really intending her to be after me like that. So just be careful, you know, that you're not given the full experience, because, you know, you could, and if you don't know how to manage.
Me and my buddies call it the half stroke.
That's some real shit.
You know, we can't give her the full stroke. You got to give her the half stroke, and you'll learn quickly when your car is keyed, or you get to knock on the door when you're entertaining somebody else. Like, you'll learn quickly that, okay, this package, the A+ package, you can't give to everybody.
Right.
And
or you got to change your number because the chick called you 20 times in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you got to change your number.
Yeah. So you have to have a managing mindset going into these things as well, because like you can really turn these women into drug addicts, because what happens is when you get into like what we're talking about here, you bring the woman to a different and greater experience of herself. Okay. So imagine this, you're this woman, you're having sex with, she's having sex with all these regular average guys who bring her to like an expected 10% that she's always been to. Right. And it's kind of like she goes to this restaurant and she just sees the front of the house, and she keeps going to the same restaurant and keeps seeing the front of the house. Then this one time, the chef wings her back and says, hey, come on back here, opens the double doors, and there's this whole other part. And she's like, whoa, holy shit, I didn't even know this was here. And now she's having a different experience of herself in that environment. And so she's limited by only what she's experienced. Okay. And so that alone should give you the confidence that you shouldn't be even worried about what other guys are doing, because chances are highly likely it's just been average. It's just been the front of the house. You know what I mean? So it's, but you have to be careful, because you show her that back room. Now she's just going to want to go to the back room.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's going to say, fuck all that shit. I want to be in the back room with the chef, and he's cooking all kinds of crazy stuff that's not even on the menu.
Right.
Right. And so, but then there's that problem. You're like, hang on, miss, you know, like I was just kind of showing this to you. So you have to be really careful and manage that situation properly, because it could backfire on you, and then you have something else to manage. Right. So just be aware.
Yeah. And you know, you touched on it, Mr. Justin, but again, for a lot of these guys, you know, especially like guys who call into this show, like shout out to the realists and certain other guys who get so caught up and hung up on a woman's body count. You understand? Like this, the topic itself, you know, understanding influence and the confidence, your sexual confidence as a man. Like when you truly understand these type of things, when you truly understand that you are an individual, when you truly understand that you are the architect of an entirely specific and individual sexual experience for a female, it's like, it's super like frivolous and nonsensical to get hung up on the count. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's nonsensical to get hung up on like how many partners or how many bodies she got on her or any of that type of shit. Like, it's like, bro, like when you become, and shout out to Mr. Justin, when you become the
symphony conductor,
the conductor, when you become the conductor, when you become the composer and arranger of a musical piece, and you provide a certain level of experience, and you like I said, this is exactly why I created something called the Masculine Identity Membership, because when you bet, when you invest, when you love and accept and really fully understand the dynamics of your identity, who you are as a man, and you fully understand how to express and execute, right? Using all the dynamics of your identity and what you do as an individual and as a man and as a specific, person within each sexual episode. You ain't got time to be thinking about anybody she's fucked already, bro. Like your level is like, look, I try to tell you guys, man. I try to tell you guys how deep this self-confidence and identity stuff goes. Like, you want to talk about being a conductor. Think of what God was doing. Like, think of the first part of the Bible. Think of what God was doing when he was creating all this shit. Whether you want to believe in the religious aspect of it or not, let's just, for the sake of conversation, let's just focus on the story. Okay, let's just deal with the story of God and creation, right? Think of God and think of how he was just tossing shit out into the universe. And then he created earth and then the heavens and the atmosphere and then everything that crawled and the plants and the trees and air and fucking water and weather and rainbows and beaches and sunsets and moonlight and all these things. They fucking work together in 24-hour sequences and 3-month cycles of seasons. And like, why? How would I be worried about what this bitch did before me when I'm creating brand new experiences and I'm enjoying myself? And bro, the beauty of what I'm doing is so fucking vast, and the magnitude of it is so ridiculous. How could I even be reduced to be the type of fucking man that would, so what's your body count, bitch? And how many men have you? Mm-hmm. Why would I even stop to think about that when I'm fucking creating the universe over here? I got a fucking 56-piece orchestra, and I'm plucking strings. I'm controlling this woman's fucking the moisture and the temperature of her body. I'm controlling, like, I'm listening to her moan, and I'm like, oh, when I move like this, she moans higher. When I move like this, she moans lower. When I do this, she like, I be having bitches literally. No matter how many times I straighten them up this way, they fucking spine be turning this way because this is the angle that they can bear they can stand the pleasure. They gotta, and I'm like,
yeah, they kind of running and tensing up to they're like, no, I need you to open up. I need you to open up and relax your body, but they tensing up because they're trying to keep you from hitting that certain spot. Okay, and see, to your point. Nigga, I'm working with Noah's Ark. I got 2 of every animal on board. Nigga, you got a jet ski. We not the same.
That's what I'm saying. Why would
we're not the same.
Why would I ever ask a woman these type of how many bodies? But you guys, trust me, that body count shit is super insecurity. But you got it, Justin. Go ahead.
No, it's just like I was thinking about. I love analogies to restaurants and food and shit like that. There's this place in Manhattan called Keen's. Keen's, it's a steakhouse in Manhattan. Okay, they have a steak that's $200. Just the steak is $200. Okay, do you fucking think that when people come in and sit down, do you think that to eat that chef's food, okay, if they thinking, damn, the people coming in, they just had a sandwich from the corner store? No, They're not thinking about that at all. They're not thinking, wow, they just went to got some hot dogs from Coney Island, right? No, they're not thinking about any of that. They're not thinking about anything except what they are producing. They're not worried. They're not comparing like, oh man, I hope my steak is as good as McDonald's hamburgers, right? They're not. It's not even in their reality of thought to compare it to.
Right.
There's no room because all the room in their head is filled up with their own creation.
Exactly.
That's it. There's no room to have space to go, am I as good as so-and-so? Because the second you make that kind of room,
right,
that brings in doubt, and doubt is the mind killer. It's like a little drop, like what Steve mentions a lot with the drop of poison in a gallon of water. You put 1 drop of cyanide in a gallon of water, no one's going to drink it if they see you put it in there, And so that's what doubt does. That's what comparison does. It takes you that whatever percentage you're letting them in takes you away from yourself and filling yourself up with your creation. And then if you're not doing that, then you can't be proud of it. You can't stand on it. You can't believe in it. Right. So it's like all these things work together.
Yo,
so I'm gonna take it back though, real quick.
No, hold on, real quick. Just let me do a quick ID, guys. Call in 516-387-1224. Call in 516-387-1224. Once it gets to that point, we're not gonna fucking take a bunch of calls at the end, guys. So if y'all want to call in,
right now is the time. Right now is the time. If you got questions, just call and ask. All
right, go ahead, Roman.
So me, I like to tie it all together. You mentioned the being about the numbers and everything, and Mr. Justin there talk about the doubt. Well, that messes with your confidence, which is one of the first things at the beginning of this we talked about, is if you're going to influence in any matter, especially sexually, that you have to have a certain amount of confidence, because that goes into everything else. Confidence in your speech, your action, and your influence. But here you are with doubt. So, I like to tie it in, because some of these cats come in later on, or some people, they're listening to the show, but they don't really listen to how it all ties in when you're speaking about it.
Exactly. Yep. It's so real, man. It's so real. Shout out to Jungle Strut for the $10 chat, for the $10 super chat. He says, salute to Kerry, Miles, and the panel. And was there anybody else with a super chat real quick? And guys, let's get some more super chats in there, man, because honestly, the shit we've been spitting on this fucking episode.
Hold on, real quick. Speaking of super chat,
we give you tools on how to embrace and grow your erotic mind. We've given you books to read. We've given you our own personal experiences. We've shown you what actually creates confidence. Guys, support the show. Put in a super chat, or at the very least, try to schedule a little bit of time with
okay, here we go.
For conversation.
There we go. I'm glad you said that, Justin. I'm glad. I got to change something right quick. Okay, go ahead and do your thing.
So I got a waterbed.
Go ahead.
My bad. Just to back in the day, I had a waterbed. Way past when waterbeds was cool, right? way past the time, but that's what I had, though. That was my bed.
80s, I think.
Yeah. I was way past the time with this waterbed, right? And of course, my partners, they laugh at me about the waterbed, and we have some ladies around, and I would kind of look at one of them and be like, "You don't know what that water does, though, right?"
Right.
So one time, I take all the sheets off. I put nothing but baby oil all over this waterbed. And me and her had a hell of a time, right? We just had a really great time. But it was just one of those things where it doesn't matter what you got. It's just the way you use it. It's just how confident you are when you have it. You don't always have to be the richest or always have the new flyest thing.
Right.
But, when I told her about that waterbed, she came back a couple weeks later, and we did the waterbed thing, and then we're sitting there, and I was like, "You like the waterbed now?" She goes, "Yeah, I like the waterbed." I was like, "Yeah, okay." So you got to put your foot in a certain way and get down, but at the same time, now my boys tease me about it. When I got rid of that waterbed, I did not know there were so many different individuals. Ladies is like, "Why you get rid of the waterbed? why did you get rid of it?" But it was time. But either way, just you got to have confidence in everything.
Yo, can you buy a waterbed today? Shit, let me look up.
I don't know.
Bro,
I had a king size waterbed. That thing used to.
I had a waterbed. I had a waterbed back when I was in my early 20s. Oh my God, bro! Like you said, chicks, and I always filled it up with warm water, never with cold water. You know what I'm saying? But that when you learn how to navigate the motion, and you put a chick right there, and you bounce her back up into the shit.
Hey.
You use a water. You bouncing her back up.
The water will help you.
Oh yes, no doubt. It actually helps you develop a rhythm. Believe it or not.
Yeah. But you still got a few of them. You still got a few of them here on Amazon.
What are they for $13?
Just make sure you if you own a home or whatever, or your apartment, just make sure you check the structural integrity of the floor, because you got a queen size bed. That much water is hundreds of pounds.
Yeah,
hundreds. It's like having like a bunch of linebackers just standing in one spot.
Yeah.
So just be careful you don't fill that up and you start hearing.
Well, I was on the second floor, and they must have had a good ceiling, because it's the waterbed plus me. So they must have had, low bearing beam. It must have had the proper support. I enjoyed it, and everybody else did too. So,
real quick, shout out St. DS with the $5 support. Salute, fam. Shout out to CS with the $3. Thanks for the content. No doubt, it's what we're here for. Thomas Blake with the Canadian 20. Appreciate you, fam. It's been a minute. I ain't seen you in a minute, but I appreciate you.
Yeah. What I want to do is build.
Oh, goddamn, this nigga's coming through today. Mr. Emmanuel with the 1999, paying my dues to the game. Salute, fam. Mr. Buzak with the $5 support you guys. We need more of Mr. Justin too. Great stream. Mr. Hats, what's your page? Talking about you, J-Roll.
Yeah.
All right, so cool. So right there. So look, right there, Mr. Justin with his IG right there. J. Roman PayPal. Shit, help everybody out. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I'm developing a page. I'm working on my humanity. I don't. If it wasn't for 1950, my kinfolks there, and we've had these conversations. We've had over our whole life. We just kind of grew up that way, having uncles and grandfathers and stuff like that always taught us certain things. But I always had like a chip. Like if I had to go the hard way and learn things on my own, why can't you guys? But then I run into so many different youth that I see them walking in Valentine's Day with flowers and stuff and things, and I'm just like, oh, look at all these little suckers. And
pretty much.
My humanity is growing, and I might create a page, for this. I just really enjoy Zag being on here and continuing to speak the way we do and finding other gentlemen that's on the same mindset. Not exactly always, but along the same pathway.
Right. Mm-hmm. Guys, remember, call in. We got about a half hour left. So make sure y'all call in 516-387-1224, 516-387-1224.
And Miles, you were I want to like kind of spin it back to something about health. You were running in on that hard about taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
And supplements are really important. I'm 45 years old, so I got to take all kinds of vitamins every single day.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they work. There could be a placebo effect, but I know that I don't always get the nutrients my body needs through my food all the time.
Right.
So that's just like a little bit of insurance. Get yourself a good multi. I take extra zinc. Zinc is really good in that it helps control your estrogen levels.
Yeah.
So as men age, they're actually they usually put on more weight, and the more body fat you have, it actually has so testosterone is always converting into estrogen a little bit, always. So it's called aromatization. So it always happens, but it happens more the more body fat you have.
Right.
So you start actually increasing your estrogen as you age and the more body fat you have. So zinc actually helps control that a little bit. And it also yeah. And it's actually also just like, good for your immune system and things of that nature. And now D3, we learned all about that with the C19. That's a very helpful thing, but it also D3 actually helps increase your natural testosterone production. It'll never bring it over your limits, but it helps keep things kind of up in a normal range.
Yeah.
And then another thing that I take, and there's these two supplements that I take, and it actually is for your load size. Okay. And there's this one called Pygium. All right. I think I'm pronouncing it correct. It's Pygeum. And so there's Pygium or Pygium and sunflower lectin. And you take both of these. You have to be consistent. And after about 2 weeks, there is a noticeable difference. So if you're into, seeing big, big shots, all over your girl, and you're into seeing big loads, or she's into seeing big loads or consuming big loads, these two supplements are the real deal. They actually work, but they don't. It takes about 2 weeks for the stuff to kind of build up.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So for all you dudes that got the runny loads that look more clear than white, you're talking to y'all motherfuckers.
Right. or even if it's normal, but you want to increase the volume of it.
Right.
Like these things, they will absolutely do that.
So it would look like they got Lubriderm and they doing this and they just pressing Lubriderm all over the Let me stop.
Yeah, if you want to, you shoot across the room and all that type of shit. But definitely, I take a D3 zinc and magnesium.
Magnesium is good too. Yep.
There's some other stuff that I got into called Shilajit or Shilajit. It's like this naturally occurring charcoal based supplement. Y'all could go look that up.
You talking about that right there, Miles?
What?
Right there, the comment?
No, that's jelqing. Jelqing is when you use your hands to kind of like pull on your penis muscles to help.
Okay, I ain't see y'all got all these terms and shit. I don't know shit.
I have never heard of jelqing being used for that. Really, that's just typically that's for people who want to lengthen their member. Right.
Yeah. It doesn't increase load size.
No, that does not increase load size.
No.
That load size has to do with your diet, your nutrients, exercise, your overall health. Because you could have a small dick and have a huge load, right? So it has nothing. Or you can have a huge dick and very small loads. They're not related.
Right.
But yeah, but you take those supplements, man. She's gonna have to like close off, and then go back in for like some, to keep it running, you know what I mean? Because her mouth got full. I promise you.
Mm-hmm. All right, so y'all familiar with burdock, nestle, and sage? Y'all familiar with that shit?
Yeah, burdock, nestle, sage, milk thistle. I mean, listen, if you live a certain type of lifestyle, you come across these things. A lot of us depend way too much on basic nutrition and only medical advice from medical doctors. But if you live a certain type of lifestyle where you understand herbs, you understand actually consuming fresh green vegetables, plants, and shit like that, you'll come across a lot of different things. Like, for example, I come from Jamaica, so I know about like certain roots and herbs. I know about, sea moss and certain other things. Like sea moss has a lot of iron that helps you with your red blood cells, which help with your erections and bringing more oxygen into the blood itself. And so even your, breathing techniques is a whole nother thing, when it comes to sexual performance.
Don't forget about the Kegels, right? Men can work Kegels as well. And it's kind of like, for those of you don't understand what it is, it's kind of like when you're done, you're at the very end of taking a piss, and you're using that muscle inside yourself to kind of like get the last of the urine out.
Yeah, squeeze it out.
The flexing of that muscle when you're not taking a piss. So you can just sit there and you like flex it and hold it and trying to do it as long as possible and do this for like sets, right? And that muscle there actually gets weak over time, if just like any other muscle, and that's the one that actually allows you to shoot farther. Have that Jergens pump thing that Carrie was talking about. That's where it goes across the room, and she's like, oh shit, what the fuck's going on? And she, but yeah, it's that muscle. So it's important to exercise that muscle. And especially if you don't have like, say, a regular partner where you're have a regular sex life, and you're kind of getting it in like once a week or less, it's really important to keep up with these sort of things, your supplements and these exercises.
Right.
You know what I'm really bothered by? The calls. We ain't got no. We spitting some real shit. We giving.
No,
Yo,
but
man.
why? That's why they're not calling, because they probably just want to hear us talk this shit.
Mhm.
It be like that. Like
It's a damn shame.
Sometimes it be like that sometimes, because sometimes they feel like if they call in to ask questions, like a lot of the questions don't necessarily have to do with the topic. So if they hear us talking really good shit, a lot of times they won't call in because they just want to hear us continue to talk good shit.
Yeah.
So
well, also if you don't have anything to relate it to, right? So
there you go.
Like, I think early on, we were talking about like worrying about looks and all these things and being focused on this external thing. Dudes are so many guys, they're just trying to get noticed out here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and we're talking about further, like we're way down the cook line and we're talking about preparing meals and you know what I'm saying? And they just try to get in. They're just trying, right? They're just trying to get in to look at the menu. So it's like, I get it, guys, but it all ties in together, right? So if you're only focused on the looks and trying to get attention, what are you going to do after that? Okay, she's looking at you. What are you going to do now? Right?
Like what now? What now?
Right. Exactly. So you can reverse engineer it, and what we've been talking about this whole time in getting to know your sexual identity, getting to know your erotic self, and like embodying your sexuality. Right. That translates to the external thing. That translates to how you present yourself and what she feels coming off you. Just like what Roman was talking about with that simple story of just talking to some girl, and it was about nothing really, but she got the sense that he is sex, right? That it didn't matter what they were saying. She understood him on a more intrinsic level. And so if it would have been done, it like even more so, it would have been a ritual sacrifice if you had started spitting game. But you didn't have to. You didn't have to. But it's like, but you can't do that. You can't experience that or be that if you're separated from your sexual identity and you're just thinking about all I just need to do is get it in and stroke and come. It's like, dude, you're lost.
Right.
See, and I'm glad you said that. And this is why, and I'm not hating on nobody, I'm just bringing up a point. This is why when you lie to get sex or you misrepresent yourself to get sex, or you cheat on women and that type of shit, because we don't condone that type of shit. And if you pay for it, right? To me, I feel like you're robbing yourself of a real genuine experience, and you're also robbing a woman of a genuine experience you can give her if you actually learned about who you are. Not only when you're talking about the masculine identity, shout out to Miles, but also your sexual identity. Remember this, sexuality is about your sexual feelings, thoughts, attractions, and behaviors towards other people. Right. You can find other people physically, sexually, or emotionally attractive, and all those things are part of your sexuality.
Facts.
Sexuality is diverse and personal, and it is an important part of who you are. This is why when you guys meet women and they stall you out for the sex, understand that their own unique sexuality is an important part of who they are. They don't want you to know that about them. They don't want you to know them in that capacity, which is why they're stalling you out. So if you're the type of guy, you're very sexual, and you don't mind exhibiting or showcasing to the women that you are attracted to who you are sexually, but you got a woman who don't want to know that side of you, and she don't want to show you that side of her, you're dealing with the wrong woman.
Facts.
Well, some of these guys got to get a little deeper, though. And I say that in anything that you do, if you just take Miles' speech sometimes and how deep he goes into a subject, it's not just the surface. He's taking you deeper, deeper, deeper into understanding sometimes the why, the root, or whatever. And all the gentlemen on the show can take you to a deeper level on that subject. So, yeah, if you're talking to a woman about sex and it's really basic level, and you might come off as a horn dog instead of somebody that it's intriguing her.
Right.
And that's where another aspect comes in, the intrigue that, I wonder if this would be a good situation for me, or if you're basic with stuff, study. Like I can't say it anymore. That there's different levels. There is different levels. It's like if you meet a girl, she might be on a different sexual level than you are. If you lie, you might get embarrassed and it might mess with your confidence, right? You go into the room and she pulls out some stuff or asks you to do something you might not be comfortable with. Right. That's because you didn't express yourself properly. Right. So you have to educate your mind on all subjects and be a well-rounded individual.
Facts.
And that's just more than just surface level.
All right, so we're going to
take that call.
Yeah. All right, so we got 240-240. You're on the Manhood is a Skill Set show. Name, age, city. 240. Yeah, man. Yeah, old nigga, what's going on, man? What's going on, OG?
Is that 50 Fitzwell? All right, 50. Your ARP card is about to expire. Give us a second. Joe Blast with the $5. Respect for this game. Let's get it. All right, 50. Let's go.
I can't hear him for some reason though.
See, this Blog Talk shit is fucked up. So 50, Fitzwell, they saying they can't hear you, brother. Hold on one second. Let me try something else.
That's wild because it worked in the test.
It worked in the test. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hold on. Let's do this and let's do.
But while you're working on that, you brought up something really good. What's up?
50. Go ahead. Can you hear him? Still no?
No.
All right, 50. Go ahead. I'll relay your question or I'll relay your statement. Go ahead. Uh-huh. Okay, yeah, he's talking about taking care of your prostate. Uh-huh.
Yep.
Oh. Yeah, we can't hear anything.
So how would you say to keep your prostate health up? What would be your suggestions, 50?
Yeah, 50 might have to put the joint in the comment section for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 50, they can't hear you. So if I'm asking you for the supplements, you got to just give me the supplements so I can relay it to them.
There you go. You could just put it in the chat.
Yeah, put it in the chat. Yeah.
All right. So 50 saying saw there's something called saw palmetto, which is a supplement that's out there. So yeah. Saw palmetto is something that y'all could look into to keep the prostate healthy. Because without the prostate, ain't really nothing going on. Like the prostate is like one of the main organs for male genitalia.
Well, you can even die if your prostate is fucked up. They got prostate cancer out this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So there's all types of bad shit that can happen.
That's right.
Point.
Mm-hmm.
All right, 50. 50. All right, so we're gonna have to move on, all right? Yeah, we haven't technical difficulties.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately, it slows it down because I've had technical difficulties. Yeah. And when people can't hear, it takes away the flow. The flow. Yeah, it just it fucks it up. Unfortunately, it does.
We appreciate the call.
Yeah.
But there was what was just mentioned prior to the call about Roman, what you were talking about with your experiences and not you specifically, but a guy's experiences and getting with, say, a woman who's more experienced. That's okay. The problem lies in when the guy worries about what she's done, and that goes all the way back to the body count thing, right? Because a woman who has a higher body count, she's gonna have more experience than you, right? Understand a lot of it is going to be average. Okay. So you really shouldn't have to worry about it that much, but experience is experience. She's going to know herself based on, even if it's shitty experiences and a few good ones, she's going to know herself better than you. Right. But it only becomes a problem if you are conscious of that, if you are aware of that, if you give a shit about that. Right. And that's going to drive down the overall experience that you're with her, and it's important to understand like where you stand, like I mentioned, my friend Coach Brody, like he has this sexuality or polarity quadrant that he has come up with, and it's brilliant. And there's 4 of them, right? So there's the masculine dominant, there's the feminine submissive, there's the feminine dominant, and the masculine submissive. And he breaks all this shit down in his videos. I highly recommend you guys check them out. But everyone thinks that as a guy, they need to be the masculine dominant. And that's just not the case, right? These are all just different polarities. And you don't have to be this thing that you have imagined in your minds of what you think a man is supposed to be in the bedroom or in life. Okay. There's all different degrees. It's like, I don't know why, but it popped up into my head where like the, G.I. Joe characters when I was playing with a kid. It's like they're all different, like this one's a ninja, this one's a scuba diver, this one's, drives a tank, this one flies the jet. They're all different, but they're all necessary. They all are, essential, right? And so it's like you don't necessarily have to be this like masculine dominant person, okay? If you have a feminine dominant in that quadrant, that's not a problem, right? A masculine submissive. Some women are very much okay being a feminine submissive, and then others are better at being a feminine dominant, right? And then, but if a guy is okay being the opposite of that, then things coalesce and they work out perfectly, right? So if a woman's feminine dominant and you want to be masculine dominant, you're just going to clash, and then you're just trying to do a friction. You're trying to get blood from a stone, and it doesn't work that way, right? It all comes down to getting to understand what your sexual nature is, and not saying it should be like this, it should be like that.
Well, to your point, a lot of people think sexual compatibility is simply enjoying penis and pussy. Mm-hmm. No, sexual compatibility is deeper than that, right? There's more into it, because there might be, like, an example would be, and I always say this, in my opinion, a lot of times when women cheat, they typically cheat with someone they're familiar with. Okay, and the reason why is because they had a sexual experience that they covet and they can't get from the person that they're with. Okay, either you can't give it or you're unwilling to give it, or the woman is sexually repressed and she can't show you who she really is because she saw that you're a judgmental guy. So she's very reluctant to show you her sexual side. So a lot of guys, you get into these relationships and you're really keeping your woman from really showing you who she is sexually, because she hears how you talk about women. She hears about all these goofy ass YouTube videos you watch, and they talk about women. Like there was one guy, and I did a video talking about it, how he was messaging one of his female coworkers, and his female coworker knew that he was seeing this young lady, and he was talking about how much he loved the sex and how freaky and kinky she was, and he loved it. So the young lady, that his coworker asked him, "Do you see yourself getting into a relationship with her?" And he said, "No, she's too freaky."
Oh, whoa!
And it's like, and he don't see how dumb that is, because what's going to happen is, because that's the type of guy that's going to cheat. Right. He's the type of guy that's going to get into a relationship with a chick who has who's less sexually inhibited. She's sexually repressed, and he's going to miss that freakiness. So he's going to cheat with the chick that's freaky. So for all you women that ask, why would a dude cheat with a woman who's not as attractive as me? Because she's freakier than you. Okay, right. That's why, right? And it's not. It might not be that you're not freaky. Is that your husband or your boyfriend isn't allowing you to showcase that side of you because he's so fucking judgmental, and you're worried about being called a hoe or a whore because you're going to show him shit that you done before he even got there, and he don't like that. Because guys have this ego, like they want to introduce everything to a bitch. Niggas is 30 years old, and their girlfriend is 31, and they still want to be the guy that introduced everything to her. Like, it's ridiculous.
She's like, wow, that's a penis?
Every fantasy of a virgin.
When I was going through school, man, and that locker room talking, that man, this girl's a hoe. And I would kind of look like, well, ain't that the ones we like? Like, isn't that the one that
that's the
we
one I
enjoy? Like, and then the clown or no, I'm not gonna give her no attention or nothing. They might think it just always didn't sit right with me because here we are. This is the one that we want to hang out with on Saturday. This is the one that we're enjoying, but yet on Monday at school, this is the one you want to ignore and act like you don't know her, and that it was just a contradiction to our reality. In reality, you wanted to go out with her. In fact, you were mad when she didn't want to go out with you. You had a lot of names for her and she wouldn't want to go out with you, but the one that did, oh, okay, she's cool. So I think a lot of gentlemen, if they really sit back and think about it, like, we attract really what you really want. A lot of times you do. And so if you're mad at what you're attracting, you got to look at yourself and ask yourself, why am I attracting that?
Right. Facts.
Yeah, it really comes down to a lot of like what you think about. I was just listening to this really great, videos along those lines, and it's absolutely true. Like what you think about is what you'll manifest in your life. But what's interesting, I forget the name of the effect. But it's a sort of thing like, let's say you're interested in buying a new truck, right? And you're looking at this new truck, you're looking at all the features, and you're really focused on that truck. Next thing you know, you're seeing it everywhere. Okay.
You talking about the reticular function or the reticular?
No, the reticular activation system is different. Okay. That's where you can program your own mind.
Gotcha.
But no, it's the something effect. It has a name, and it's like, oh, you're focusing on these new sneakers. You're like, oh man, I love these. I can't wait for the new ones to come out. They're looking like this. You're really hyper focused, and next thing you know, it's like boom, you see them everywhere. Mm-hmm. Because where your attention goes, that's where you're starting to notice these things. So if you have a certain perception and belief about women, you're going to start seeing that everywhere. So if you're like, all these hoes out here are trash, all they do is cheat on guys and they never stick with anyone and they can't ever quote unquote pair bond with anybody like that. That's what if that's your belief, that's what you're going to perceive, right? What you believe is what you'll perceive. And so that in your perceptions are going to alter how you interact with them, right? Or how you interact with anything that affects your perceptions. So understand that, like, there is no good girl. There is no bad girl. That comes from having a Madonna whore complex, which is what the average guy has. They're just girls. That's it. They're just women.
There you go. Facts. It's facts.
It's what it is. And to Miles' point from like a long time ago, or you mentioned a number of times about how there's this blank slateness to women, right? They can have this blank slateness to them where your influence can affect where they go, how far they go, what they do, how they interact with you. And it's not a disrespectful way saying women are blank slates. Like it's not like that. When you're of a man of influence who can influence women, it's actually becomes part of your creative process. Right. And it's an enjoyable thing. When you have these preconceived notions, they're not a blank slate. You're saying you are this. And what you expect people to be, usually people will fill the vessel that you put them into.
That's Russell, and let me just say this, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. Just there is no good girl, bad girl. Women are comprised of both situations, right? They have the little angel on one shoulder and a little devil on one shoulder, and depending on how they feel about the guy, that's what side of themselves they show. You know what I'm saying? So there is no such thing as the quintessential good girl and the whorish, slutty bad girl. No, women can be both, depending on the guy. Okay, and depending on what guy brings it out of them. I want guys to understand this, and this is just some common sense shit. Every single woman that has engaged in having a one-night stand, do you think when she was younger, prior to losing her virginity, do you think she foresaw her doing that? No, she did not. I don't know too many chicks that are virgins. I can't wait to have a one-night stand. I don't know too many, and not to say that it's never happened, but a lot of them, they're not thinking about sex that far in advance about what type of sex is going to be. A lot of them, they're just going with the traditional concept of, hey, let me find a guy that cares about me and I care about him, and that'll be the guy that I fuck for the first time. Okay, so what happens is a lot of these women that have sex for the first time with a guy they just met, they have feelings that they never had prior to meeting that guy. So that compels them or entices them to do something they've never done before. It's no different than a woman who's had sex with maybe 10 guys, but she's never had anal sex. And maybe there's a guy or two that she had sex with who tried to get her to have anal sex, and she said no. Then she meets this other guy who is different. There's something about him where she says, you know what? Every other guy I met before you that wanted that, I said no, but I'm going to say yes to you. So what's so different about that situation than the previous situation? And it goes back to a woman's sexuality. Okay, well that could be that too. It could be that. It could be that. It could be that. It could be that where a chick. Now, here's the thing though, because it could be where a chick feel like your shit is too big, but then she meet a dude that's working with something more than you, and she let him do it. But it's just something about him. Because here's the thing about, I want guys to understand something. I'm gonna pass it to the gentleman on the panel. Any woman who has sex with you, there's a level of submissiveness and vulnerability that goes with a woman getting naked before you and having sex with you. Because there's a level. But when you talk about sexual submission, there's levels to it. Okay, and this is what I mean by that. You can have sex with a woman and she won't let you videotape her, but she'll let him do it. You can have sex with a woman and try to bring another woman into the bedroom. She says no. And she never kissed a woman or had a woman touch her, but she'll let that guy do it. There's levels to sexual submission. So even with sexual compatibility, you and a woman can be compatible sexually, where you enjoy each other. And I alluded to this earlier, but there's levels of sexual submission where you're introducing her to things she has yet to experience, but because she's so into you and she loves you the way that she does, and she just wants to follow what you got going on, she's willing to do shit that she never thought about doing, or maybe she was reluctant to do with other guys, but she's willing to do with you. Y'all got it.
I'm gonna say this, and it's Mr. Justin touched on the point, but it really hit home for me when I was younger, and I had to learn the lesson. I was about 24 at the time, 24, 25, and my buddy was dating this girl, and there was two sisters. The older sister was about 24, but her younger sister was about 21. And my buddy says, "Man, the younger sister's cute. You should holler at her or whatever." So, we holler at each other. We go out, and she was very, very cute. Now, I have my own place, and I was having a great time with other people. But this one, she was so cute and looked so innocent that, I didn't become as forward as I was with her. I had this idea in my head about who she was. And she came back to my place and everything. Didn't try anything, nothing like that, because the image I had in my head was about her cute and innocentness, right? After this date was over with, I take her home, and, I asked my buddy, I said, "Man, she ain't really hit me up. What's up?" He goes, "Oh, yeah. She was telling her sister that you were too nice. Like, you were really, really nice. Like, and she wanted to do something, but you never made a move or, something like that." And normally, which was not my norm, right? This was not my norm behavior. But the norm behavior was, hey, whatever. But my image of her, because I thought, okay, the cute, the innocent, she's not this way. She's not like other women or the women I've been looking or dating or interacting with. And that lesson right there taught me instantly, like, no, they're all the same. They all, no matter what your view on them is, a woman is a woman that has different desires, different wants, different needs, and everything. And what we impose is not their story always. So, right. Real life lesson, come the truth. I learned that lesson a long time ago. And, but yeah, I treated her with, oh, she's so cute and innocent looking. And, that was that. And years later, years later, I found out we was on the same sexual wavelength, the type of stuff. Like we were very sexually compatible, but, I lost that, point blank, but
the bottom line,
I didn't lose that, but I learned that experience.
The bottom line with that story, and thanks for sharing that story, but the bottom line with that story is to again never make the game about the woman, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because
Right.
if you was focused on what you wanted, you would have look when you were a young bachelor, any fucking female that walks through that room failing my mother or my sister, any woman that walks through the threshold of that fucking door, failing any female in my family that got my DNA,
Yep.
it's all free fucking game for all of them.
And that was the norm,
Bro.
you know. But
Bro,
my own fault on this one.
But what
look.
you were making the game about her. Oh, she's this, she's that. And you
Right.
No, what do I want? I want any woman walking through that fucking threshold to know that it's time to get down. And if you focus on that, you would have done what you were supposed to do.
Yeah, Miles, check it out.
Exactly.
Check it out. My spot is the thought spot.
Exactly.
It go down here. Okay, we're not Netflix and chilling without the sexual feeling. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't even Netflix and chilling with you motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? We ain't no TV being turned on. When you come in, matter of fact, I got some lights that I just ordered from Amazon. You can control it with your phone, multicolor lights. You can control with the music, and it controls the mood of the lights. I got a set of 2 coming right now for you hoes. You know what I'm saying? That's what we doing over here. Yes, nigga. Yes. That's what we doing over here. So when you come over here, you know what I'm saying, you're going to get an experience. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no we watching movies and shit. And I'm not saying we can't do that at some point, but initially, okay, it's going to smell like Badoosie in this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
And it was kind of crazy. It was kind of crazy because my partner, he was like, I know something happened. Like, what happened? And I was just like, nah, nothing happened, we had a good time. We sat and we talked, and, she came back to the place, and I took her home, and, even then, and that's why I tell people I have learned throughout these years. And that's the difference between some and others. You have these experiences and you have to learn from them. And you have to mentally say to yourself, okay, what did I do? What was up with that? And you learn from there. And so, it was exactly what I imposed, because that game wasn't about me at the time. It was about her, the cute and innocence. And later on, I found out. So, but that's exactly what Mr. Justin was talking about. When you take it outside of, you're looking at one different than another.
Right. Yep. Exactly. So guys, if y'all look, it's about that time. Me personally, I'm ready to go. But
I got questions.
If we could get the
Oh
yeah.
Okay.
I want to get the questions.
We do got some questions. Okay. Let me just say this. I've been had lights filmed. These are the new joints. I've been on that years ago. Anyway. No, don't get it twisted fucking with a nigga like myself.
I used to have that black light, the black light, the blue light.
I've been on that
red light.
10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, I've been on lights. Nigga, get out of here with that shit. Yeah. Okay, so Brandon Webb says, okay, when you're trying to get a favorable outcome, how more important than the outcome? Look, let me.
No.
Okay, go ahead. You got it.
I was just going to say you're already failing when you in the first part of the comma. When you're trying to get a favorable outcome, you're already losing because you're focused on something that is outside yourself. You're trying to get something, right? So in relation to women, this is an example of making the game about women. This is an example of making sex about getting pleasure. This is an example where you're letting your impulses control what you're aiming at.
Right. See, when you're focused on a favorable outcome, that means you're willing to do whatever to get it. It's kind of like when you're just focused on money. You're willing to do whatever to get it. When you're focused on the favorable outcome, you're willing to lie. You're willing to deceive. You're willing to manipulate, right? Or you're willing to just outright pay for it because the outcome to you is more important than anything. For us, I don't care about the outcome. Okay, my thing is I'm simply going to present myself to whatever woman. I'm going to give her an opportunity to deal with a real one. She can either select to or select not to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't lose no sleep over it. Like, look, here's the thing. This is what I want guys to understand. My mood doesn't change. Meaning, I'm a happy-go-lucky motherfucker. I'm chipper. I'm walking in the spot. What's up? What's up? If a chick tell me no, that same energy I had when I came into place, what's up? What's up? It's still there. Mm-hmm. If a chick say, I want to go home with you, that energy is still there. It doesn't heighten because she said yes. It don't change. Because I'm still the same dude whether a chick want to fuck me or not. Right. I'm the same guy. My attitude, my demeanor, nothing changes because a woman says no or she says yes.
Most guys need to understand that if your life is the way that you designed it, the outcome is already favorable. You understand? The outcome is already favorable. So if she says no, then she's missing out, because I'm going home to the house with the lights and the, you understand? I'm going home to the posh apartment with the lights and the hot shit and I'm me. So I'm doing great. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of guys, like Mr. Justin was saying, you're pleasure seeking. If we really look at it, the activity of putting your dick in the vagina is more than just, for a lot of guys, they don't even realize the psychology of it. For a lot of you guys, it's validation for you. You understand? A woman consenting to sex with you is validation for you, because you're like, yeah, I'm the man because I got to smash. But hold up, I was always the man. So where that come from?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the part that most guys are missing. I was always the fucking man. I know what pussy feels like. So how the fuck is you letting me fuck you tonight validation? That's not validation to me. You see what I'm saying? Validation is the fact that I woke up this morning understanding what I could do to a female. I already know what I could do to a female. I already know how the fucking heights of ecstasy and pleasure that I've experienced. I know about all these things. So this one particular female saying, nah, I'm good on this particular Saturday evening, that's not the favorable outcome. The favorable outcome is producing the type of life and the type of self-perception where I already see I am the favorable outcome. You see what I'm saying? But if y'all want to get to the next question.
Yeah, I would just say, the how matters. Basically, the how matters.
The how is you. The how is you.
How is you, and it matters. So
I'm not going to answer this question. Okay? Look, let me tell y'all something real quick. If y'all got insecurities about the size of y'all joint, there are things that we can't help you with. Okay, you can't be. This is why I say some of y'all should not watch porn, especially that BBC shit. Stop watching. Don't watch that shit. And all it's gonna do is fuck you up. Or even the fucking BWC or whatever the fuck y'all niggas be watching. Stop watching that shit. It ain't helping you. Okay, all it's doing is making you more insecure than you was before. All right, so hold on. So real
wasted
quick,
money on pills.
There you go. So Colin says, Miles says you can't skip levels on your journey in the game. Does this also count for accepting past childhood negative realization? Y'all niggas, y'all from England or something? Y'all spell realization without the Z, with the S and shit. Salute to the panel.
Does this accepting past childhood negative realizations? Yeah, go ahead, Jay.
I mean, I grew up in a rough way, and some things you might need to go sit and talk to somebody, sit on somebody's couches. Other things you just got to let go. At some point in time, you can't blame. It's always funny to me. You'll be 30 years old. You can tell me what the trauma was as a youth, but now you're in control of your own everything, right? The own money you make, your own place, your own things you do. You're in control of a lot of that, but still want to revert back to the negative and let that have an effect on you more. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you have to let things go. And I know it's easier said than done, but however you do that to work on letting things go, you might need to talk to somebody. You might need to pay a professional if you need to. Nothing wrong with that. That's something you need. But a lot of times we hold on to things as excuses on our behaviors instead of putting in work to correct our own selves. And so, start working on it or letting it go. But when you're old enough, at some point in time, what are you going to be, 50 years old, still saying something that happened when you're 13, 14? You're 60 years old, you're 70-year-old, you're 80 years old, you're 90 years old. This is why I don't love, because I never loved. This is why I don't do this, because I never did that. Like, at some point in time, you're going to have to just let it go. Yep. And, you may never get the recourse or, what you might want to really happen in any situation. But, if you're feeding yourself, working.
Yeah, stop being a victim.
What more do you want from yourself?
Yeah, stop being a victim.
Well,
Yeah.
And my thing is this: when you say negative realization, what did you experience? Did you experience your mother and father getting divorced? Oh wow, that's really traumatic. Okay, there are people who experience some real shit, like they seen their parent die in front of them. Okay, you have countless women and children who were violated. You know what I'm saying? Who were really traumatized. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm not saying that what you went through didn't matter. What I'm saying is you got to put everything in a proper perspective. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what, like, you know, I'm going to transition to this and I'm going to pass it on to you guys.
No, we're going to go to the next question. We're going to go to the next question after this.
All right. This nigga said, let's go. Fuck it, let's go. Fuck it, let's go. Fuck it, let's go right now. All right. So, Peach Rose, I'm respecting y'all niggas' time.
Yeah.
She said, is that why women like getting with older men because of their sexual confidence? That's part of it.
That's definitely part of it. That's definitely part of it. I mean, no offense to nobody on the panel, but just keeping it all the way real. We all just around 40, right? On this panel, right?
We 40 or older. You know what I'm saying?
45 right here.
Yeah, at least 35. Yeah. I'm 41. Yeah. I know I'm 41. So
I'm 45.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things that come together when you're older, you know, self-love, self-acceptance. Cause it's like, nigga, if you don't love yourself by 40, then look, I'm sorry for you. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck what to go back to the last question too. I don't care about what negative realizations you had in your childhood. By this fucking age, if you ain't figure it out yet, then I'm sorry, there's no help for you. You understand what I'm saying? You gotta go talk to somebody. But the money, you know, your mind is right, your money's right, and you're ready for war. You understand what I'm saying? You're ready to dig down any female that even want to look at you and look at you funny. You understand? You have a certain level of confidence in your identity. So, you know, and as long as you've taken care of yourself to this point where you could get a quality erection, it's over.
Well, that, you know, and there's a certain evolution and growth and maturity that comes with age, or let me say this, should come with age. Because as Nas once said, niggas is in their second childhood. So you do have dudes that's in their 30s, late 30s, mid 30s, doing teenage type shit. You got dudes wearing rainbow colors, still dressing like they was in the 90s and shit, and they old as fuck, right? So there should be some maturation, some growth, not only just in you being a man and a person, but also in how you deal with women. In the sexual part, being sexually confident. Now, you do have guys that are older. They're the same guys they was in their 20s. They just, I'm good. I don't know if you got yours, but I'm good. They still the same dude. But again, you have dudes that they just have a different outlook on how they view sex and how they view themselves in relation to having sex with the women that they deal with. Y'all got anything y'all want to add to that before we move on?
Yeah, I just think women are very comfortable in stability, and that's of mind, finances, everything. It's a relaxing, comfortable state when you know you're with somebody with a certain amount of confidence for things, and you know it's comfortable for them. And so, yeah, why not be with somebody that has the energy that's going to make you feel positive and confident? Because you know a lot of these gentlemen have so much confidence that it makes it seem like they have that much confidence because they're secure in knowing, you know, that your stability. And so, you know, that's about it. I don't know.
No doubt. All right. So this guy says, ever heard of the Red Shoe Diaries? I have, but I really have nothing to add beyond that.
Yep. I've heard of it. I've never read the Red Shoe Diaries.
Exactly. That's why I don't have nothing to add. So he says, is an erotic poetry reading great for a first date? For me, it is.
Yeah, for me it was.
See, a first date is whatever. This is the problem, and it goes back to sexual confidence. Whatever or wherever you decide to do on a first date, that's up to you. See, the reason why you're asking is it great for a first date because you're worried about what the woman might think.
Yep.
And my thing is, because this is what I want guys to understand. When you guys are dealing with these women and you're offering dates to women, introduce women to who you are. If you really want to know if a woman is compatible, which compatibility is existing in harmony without conflict. That's what compatibility is. If you really want to know if a woman is compatible and she's down to deal with you on your terms, introduce her to your date of choice, whatever that is. I've literally been on a date with a chick, you know, we having a drink, and I said, look, and like she drove herself, I drove myself, I said, look, hop in the car, I'm going to show you something. Ride with me. And she hopped in the whip, and I literally pulled up at an adult sex shop, and I just pulled into the parking lot and just looked at her. Just looked at her. And she hopping up the car excited, like a kid on Christmas. Like, really? Really? Because she knows that the fact that he brought me here, I know where his mind is at.
Right.
So I get to show him where my mind is at, and I'm not worried about him judging me because he brought me here.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man.
I think that if you have real, genuine conversation and genuine expression where they know who you are, I know there was one time where I was going to go on a date, but I was tired. I worked a double. And it was to the point where I had to call and say, look, I can't, I'm not going anywhere. I'm tired, so we can reschedule, or you can come over here. I plan on fixing me something to eat, watching a movie, and probably falling asleep on that.
Yeah.
Probably falling asleep on that. And she said, yeah, I'll be on my way.
Mm-hmm.
I'll come over here. It was first date, that now older, I wouldn't do that because I didn't get comfortable sleep with somebody I didn't know. But at the same time, it was the truth. I was tired. I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to go out, so I was not going to go out. I didn't care about the flaking because guess what? You have a choice. I gave you the choice. She said, no, I don't want to. I'd have been like, cool. I'm going to hang up the phone. I'm going to go fix something to eat and go to sleep. So I think when you are confident in yourself and you're real genuine as a person, they have nothing but to react with realness. So,
yeah.
All right, real quick, Oaktown's finals with the $9.99. Too much game today from the panel. So definitely appreciate that. Yeah, subscribe to. Matter of fact, let me put it back in the joint. Subscribe to. If there's any moderators left, put Coach Justin, Mr. Justin's IG back in the shit. Also, definitely feel free to donate. Everything is appreciated. You motherfuckers ain't being made to do nothing. You know what I'm saying? So if the bare minimum donate a like, that shit is free. All you gotta do is click on some shit. You know what I'm saying? Donate that. You know what I'm saying? On the way out the door, closing words from you gentlemen.
Closing words. Yeah, guys, influence, confidence, knowing who you are, all comes back to, your masculine identity, and having control doesn't necessarily mean controlling the woman. It means controlling yourself to create a certain experience, and she's willing to follow that based on you knowing who you are and understanding your abilities sexually and otherwise. All right, guys. So make sure y'all go to masculineidentitymembership.com to get a deeper understanding of what the fuck I'm talking about. And shout out to the panel. K Zaggin, thanks for having me. Shout out to Jay Roman and Mr. Justin, and shout out to the chat and everybody that contributed and supported the panel of this fire ass game today. I'm glad I was a part of this. And yeah, man, there we go.
I just want to say that, one of the things that we all dropped some fantastic information on here. Get yourself some of the books that we discussed. They're invaluable. Take the time to actually read something and get off of freaking YouTube. Because there's things in these books that can't be shown on YouTube. They can't talk about these things on YouTube, but they can put it in a book though. And so there's fantastic things in there, and it will absolutely help your game immensely. The game starting with you, right? So that's the takeaway that I think you guys should run with. If you want to have conversation with me, I'm Mr. Justin_X on Instagram, and I do free consultations for the first hour. It's a long free consultation, right? I do one-on-one coaching for a la carte, and then for those of you who really want to deep dive, I have a 4 to 6 month course that you work with me, and we get through all kinds of crazy stuff. So, but yeah, otherwise, just check out my content. I appreciate you guys having me on here again. It's always a pleasure. Just talking about everything we talk about, dating, women, sex, relationships, marriage, whatever. Love it.
There we go. Real quick, Jay Rumble, give me a second.
Oh yeah.
April 2nd in NY. It's coming up, motherfuckers. It's coming up. We was talking about this, I think, at the end of December, early part of January, something like that.
Yeah.
We already past mid-February. We passed, because it's only 29 days in February. We almost there. It's going to be here before you know it. Spring break going to be upon us. And before you know it, it's going to be some April showers. And then, the last time to file your taxes is going to be right there. You know what I'm saying? So fuck with us, April 2nd in NYC. You got the master planners, Miles Cunningham, Mr. Lucario, They're the feature speakers. Myself, Ron Wills, Taekwondo, we are the guest speakers in NYC, New York City, and Manhattan. April 2nd, let's get it.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Oh, this is Jay Roman, and I appreciate you guys listening, calling in. Like always, I always say, represent the real Game No Theory show. Please watch it tomorrow with these gentlemen that's on there. It is very, very enlightening and entertaining too. If any questions or anything that you felt that wasn't expressed, contact one of these gentlemen. I'm always been a person, I don't cross the bridge until I need to. So I guess when I get enough people to say, hey, build your own channel, I'll build my own channel and go from there. But until then, contact these gentlemen here. A lot of game was passed out on this show. And I just think that, especially for the youth, if you guys heard something and you're not sure exactly how to apply it, go ahead and get a second dose and contact one of these gentlemen to get clarification.
Facts. Yep.
All right, cool. On the way out the door, Spanky. I didn't see no question from you. We got the Real Game No Theory panel tomorrow at 11 Central Standard Time, 12 Eastern. Ask your question tomorrow, fam. It's too late.
Yeah. Or you know what? You could just DM one of us and we could take care of it.
There you go. There you go.
All right.
You can holler at one of us behind the scenes. Mr. Justin, there you go. Jay Roman. Holler at, and then we'll fuck with you on the back end. All right. We out here. Hey, like the video. Subscribe to these brothers. Holler at Mr. Justin, Coach Justin. Holler at the brother. And on IG, for all you dudes that are into BDSM and you want to learn some shit, like he said, he got a free course for an hour, I believe you said, right?
Well, no.
Or free consultation.
Consultation is
the consultation. Now,
or your proper knots.
Yeah, he got, but he's letting you know that he said about 4 or 6 months of in-depth shit. So she's letting you know it's not no overnight shit. Nope. It takes time to transform yourself into that dude. We out.
That's right.